It's 9 days of competition from April 21st to the 30th, and no STEM or robotics experience is needed to volunteer. Shifts are generally 3 to 5 hours long. Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
No Wall Street wrap today because of the holiday. Stay tuned to KMOX when the updates, sponsored by Stiefel and Ophthalmology Associates, resume on Monday.
The best shot for severe weather will be staying well to our north, but we'll see some showers, a couple of thunderstorms around overnight tonight, especially later on tonight. It's windy and 55. There's cold front on the way. On Saturday, morning showers. Front passes about midday, then clearing skies and windy. Think temperatures primarily in the 50s with that cold front coming through. Saturday night, clear, windy, and chilly, 40. Easter Sunday, sunny and breezy, 58. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
We've got clouds. It is 81 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, southbound 55 is still shut down south of Loughborough because of that vehicle fire. They are getting the fire out, and that's exactly what I thought would happen. The pumper had to come up the northbound side of 55 and stop next to it to put it out. So the left lane is closed, northbound 55 at Loughborough as well. North 55 is jammed at River to Bear. Obviously, with the southbound 55 side being closed, it's a solid jam back through 4500 Broadway. So if you're in a hurry, leaving downtown, I suggest westbound 44 until they can get these traffic lanes reopened on 55, but hopefully it won't be too much longer because it looks like they're getting the fire out now. Eastbound 70, heavy from Packers Avenue to 64, 64 slow, midway from 157 to 159, westbound 64, Hampton through Bellevue, still kind of busy. After that, it's okay. We have a stalled semi now in a traffic lane, eastbound 70 before Wentzville Parkway. Traffic is slow back at David Hochul Parkway because of it. Southbound 170, the Forest Park Parkway down to 64 is pretty busy, and the right ramp lane south 270 at the Rock Road getting onto Highway 70 are heavy as well. Next update at 5:20 from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
News, traffic, and the latest on the Redbirds. This is the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Sponsored by Busey Bank. Building community with Busey Bank. Beyond the game.
Welcome into Friday on Redbird Rush Hour. You got Bernie Miklasz and Kevin Wheeler hanging out with you here. Matt's got some family things going on here on this Good Friday. We obviously have a lot of baseball to cover. Bernie, how you doing today?
Yep. I'm doing good, Will. It's good to work with you again.
Yeah, it's a good time, man. And it's, this time of year, we spend so much time in the build-up to the season that once we start getting games going and you start seeing the results, I just find the conversation to be just that much more fun.
Oh, no, there's no doubt about it, because you can really get your hands into things. You can sink your teeth into things, and there's always issues. I mean, day to day, there's always issues, even if some of them are really not that big of a deal. But on that day, they're kind of a big deal. And
right.
There's something to talk about.
Right, something good, something bad every day.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have some of that going on tonight.
No doubt. Well, let's start with today. I mean, just could use it as the jumping off point. We can go in a number of different directions as we head into the weekend. Cardinals played their first road game today. They got beat by Detroit 4-0. Framber Valdez pitched pretty well. McGreevy was okay. His velocity's still down, Burn, and they're talking about it. And the fact that he doesn't rely on velocity means it's probably less of a big deal for him than it would be for some other guys. But it's still notable to keep an eye on.
No doubt about it. I mean, he's got a finer line. He's got a finer margin for error, and if he's not sharp and, doesn't have like perfect command, getting the ball where he wants it to go, he's more vulnerable. I mean, that is the reality when you don't have turbocharged velo,
right.
you can be vulnerable. He's a really good pitcher though. And heck, they didn't get him any runs anyway. So I guess
No, that was the problem.
Yeah, I mean, so McGreevy came out strong, and then it kind of got away from him in the fourth and fifth inning. But the offense was pretty what's the word? I mean, first of all, there's no shame in getting shut down by Framber Valdez,
right?
And I know in the past they've beat him up a little bit, but a couple of those starts were when he was basically pitching hurt. But yeah, there wasn't much going. Ali Marmol went with the really, really, really big, heavy platoon split, 7 right-handed batters in the game, and it didn't do anything. I mean, the 7 guys who were in the starting lineup went 1 for 17 against Valdez. 1 for
Yeah,
17.
the 7 righties, right.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't
the
looked
7
it up, but
righties
I don't
did.
think he has much of a split. Maybe he does, and I just don't know.
He does. No, he doesn't. I
Yeah.
looked it up. He doesn't. He doesn't.
He's got the sinker and the changeup for righties, and he's got the curveball to both lefties and righties. I don't really think he's split heavy. So I guess.
To your point, the Cardinals had 2 left-handed hitters in the starting lineup, Burleson and Victor Scott.
Mm-hmm.
They had 2 hits.
Yep.
They had 2 hits. The 7 right-handed hitters had 1 hit between them. So, it didn't work out for Ali. I know people were just losing their minds because that's what we do, when the lineup came out. But listen, are there people that thought like they would like never ever play Fermin or Pozo?
Yeah. If you're going to pick a spot, I mean, I understand. Look, I get the complaints, but I also think that we just have to reframe everything. You're not a contender. You're a rebuilding team. You're not going to just sit there and look at every day and criticize if it's like, this is not the best lineup to win today. Okay, but you still got to get playing time for people. Otherwise, they won't be okay when you need them. And that's something that Tony La Russa talked about a lot, understood, and where the difference would be, Bern, is he might do that on a Sunday instead of a Friday, but he was still going to do it. Right? The old joke used to be it's a getaway giveaway day, right? People used to give Tony a lot of heat for that until he won the World Series here, and then everybody stopped giving him heat.
Tony used to put those getaway day or whatever like you said, whatever we call them. He would put those lineups together, and I would just laugh. I mean, no, because I would go down there and see the lineup, and I'm like, oh man,
you're gonna get all kinds of messages.
Everyone's just going to totally freak out. There's going to be people outside the ballpark just foaming at the mouth. They're going to have to be put down. They have rabies, and it's like. And then I swear, I mean, I don't have any numbers on this, but a lot of those weird lineups that he put together, when he had 2 or 3 essential starters sitting.
Right.
The Cardinals won a lot of games with those La Russa lineups, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter because the next time he did it, everybody freaked out again. So anyway, this stuff is funny. Everybody is, that's part of the fun of being a baseball fan. To use a modern term, you get to cosplay Sparky Anderson.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, look, we all like to play along, and it's not an unfair thing to say this is not a good lineup. But sometimes it's going to be that way over 6 months. You're not always going to run the best lineup out there because and again, I get it. People are like, it's only a week. I know, but we understand now that rest is more of a maintenance thing than a thing you do after the fact. Unfortunately, they didn't do enough of that with injured guys last year, which will bring us to another topic here in a minute.
Yeah.
But I also think we got to get into the mindset too, Bernie, and I would like to see the Cardinals even do this stuff, is you don't have the lineup you start the game with isn't always going to be the lineup at the end of the game. And Detroit's a good example. AJ Hinch does this all the time. He'll start somebody who you think is not very good, but it's because it's a good matchup for the first 3 or 4 innings. And then that guy's going to come out midway through the game. Right. And today you saw Weatherholt midway through the game in the game. You saw Nathan Church and Nolan Gorman midway through the game in the game. And that's how teams treat it now. So you want the righties in there early. And then when this lefty comes out, boom, here come your other guys to take advantage of matchups.
Yeah, you're so right about that. And I think the people that really pay close attention know this stuff.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm always just taken aback when there seems to be a lot of people who have no clue about this stuff. And the way managing has changed, and it's not just the manager that like a fan base wherever. Well, they about half the fan bases hate their manager. They can't even tell you why. And so, so when he starts a lineup that they consider to be weird, where actually the way the game's managed today, universally, it makes sense because you're not operating off the same template. The template is totally changed. So whatever you're used to seeing in lineups, it's never going to be what you think every day. It's going to, and some of the stuff I said it on a lot of our shows. We're going to see a lot of weird lineups this year.
Yes.
So I'm not sure why people are surprised when we see it. It's a rebuilding year.
Yeah.
They got an analytics department, and they got guys that they want to try out new things in terms of lineup construction. So there's going to be some pieces moving all the way around. I knew that coming in. You knew that coming in, and it is, and I think most people, again, who pay attention knew that. So I just don't understand, let's all go jump off the Eads Bridge because he had a weird lineup. I don't get it.
Well, and Matt and I talked about it. I think it was last night, Bernie. Matt and I talked about this, that teams aren't always just setting a lineup or a batting order. We were talking more batting order than we were talking about who's playing, but you're not necessarily setting a batting order, for example, just for the starting pitcher. Some of it is about how you will match up from the fifth inning on with their bullpen, which is why teams all across the baseball really emphasize alternating left, right, left when they can. So even if it means you get a weird thing like Mason Wynn batting cleanup, it's about trying to match up late in the game when you're going to get these guys coming in throwing 98 to 100 miles an hour, specifically tailored to get the guys out in your lineup. That's right.
Exactly right. It's such a mix and match sport now, and it actually goes really, really deep, and the reliever minimum, they have to face 3 batters. That factors into it. Guys are saving their bullets for those type of situations. They're trying to protect their own lineup. So from like Ollie does, but a lot of managers do. He's not going to put 2 of his best left-handed hitters back to back because that just makes it easy for the other dugout.
That's correct.
To bring in his best lefty reliever if the game is tight and he needs to get those 2 outs.
Yes.
So that's why you don't set up the lineup to make it easy for your opponent. Imagine that. You don't want to make it easy for your opponent.
Yeah. 2 quick messages from the stream that I wanted to touch on real quick. Aces disagrees that it's a rebuild, says, I disagree on the rebuild. We are competitive. Look, you can disagree with it if you want to.
It's a rebuild.
You might as well be a flat earther because the reality is it's a rebuild. Whether you think it is or isn't, it is.
It's a rebuild. But again, now here's the problem, and God bless Ace. I'm not ripping him.
No.
Here's the problem. With some people, and I don't know what the percentage would be. A percentage of people here rebuild. They think Houston Astros
right. It's not a tank,
games.
Is what it's not.
They're thinking of the Orioles, losing 100 games,
right.
4 years in a row or whatever. They're thinking of the Cubs losing 109 games or whatever it was. They're thinking about all the just like these hopeless cases. There are different versions of rebuilds. Right.
Those are called full tanks. This is not a full tank.
Right.
It's just a rebuild.
And I actually do think they're competitive.
Sure.
I said, and this, Wheels, because we were kicking it around in spring training and we would update it. How many games do you think they could win? And I never pinned down one total, but I always said, and I'm still there, I think they're going to win somewhere between 78, 81 games, maybe 82 games. I don't rule that out.
No.
And that's a competitive team, but I don't know what I say this with respect. I'm not sure what Ace's point is. Does that mean you have got to just like empty the bucket every single game? And use your personnel as if like you've got a playoff spot on the line, or this is like the 5th game of the NLDS.
Yeah.
You're not going to manage your team like that, and you're not going to run your team like that, especially not on April the 3rd. Right?
Amen. Yeah. And then the other quick one, I know we got to take a break, but the other quick one was from John, who said there's a difference between weird lineups and weak lineups. Today, the Cardinals were weak. Well, again, it's a rebuild. You do not, if you had a strong lineup, you wouldn't be in a rebuild. I mean, that's just the fact. And he made a point earlier about the bench not being strong. I agree. The problem is there guys like Pozo and Fermin are here to essentially not play.
Yeah.
Because they're going to play all the young guys. They're going to play Wynn, Herrera, Burleson, Walker, Gorman, Weatherholt. They're playing every day. They're going to play every day, which means you're going to have at least a couple guys on the bench that never play, and you don't want that to be a young prospect.
Right. I don't like that part of it, but again, I'm also not going to, kind of break out in a sweat and pass out on the fainting couch,
Yeah.
And by the way, I might remind folks that their A lineup, so to speak, if you want to call it their A lineup, how many runs did they score against the Mets? I must have missed those 10-run outbursts against the Mets.
Yeah.
With their A version of the lineup.
Yeah.
Once again, hey, let's go to some of the old greatest hits. This is not the NFL, as Earl Weaver told a reporter coming from the NFL to cover the Orioles back in the early 80s. He said, look, I know you're used to that football. We play 162 here. This isn't the NFL.
Right.
We play 162 here.
Amen.
So, but yet we still view it as football or something.
I don't know. A little bit too much intensity for the first week of the season. We should play the LaRussa clip. It's the first week of the season.
But I listen, I'm glad people are fired up, whether we agree or disagree. I'm
Absolutely.
glad that people,
Glad there's enthusiasm.
Cardinals fans are very passionate. They're just kind of staying away for now in terms of buying tickets down there, whatever. And that's whatever they're going to do. That's all right. It's their money, their time. But listen, you should know this because you've been hosting this show forever, it seems like, or a long time. The passion really burns, and I love that.
Yep.
I love that. Even if people are getting mad about stuff that I don't get mad about, or even if I say, well, come on, you gotta level off a little bit. No, it's all good that people care so much still. Yep. I like that.
Amen. Amen. All right. We're going to talk a bit about Herrera. We're going to talk about Mason Wynn, and we'll talk about what's coming up this weekend as well. We got so much more to cover. Before we do all that, Bern, though, tell us about Saliga.
Yeah, Bernie Miklasz here for Saliga Heating and Cooling. It's a Daikin comfort dealer taking great care of St. Louis family since 1927. One family, the Saligas, for 100 years now. I just find that amazing, and I'm proud to represent them. My friend Dan Saliga is fourth-generation owner-operator of this wonderful family business, and he still maintains the highest standards. That's the way it's been for 100 years. So we've been calling Saliga for many years, going on 18, 19 years. We give them the highest marks for their honesty, their knowledge, their class. They explain things to you. They're patient with you. They will offer you options. They're not trying to hustle you. They're not trying to twist your arm. They're not trying to basically set you up for the most expensive repair. You need to trust the people that come into your home when something as important as heating and cooling. And I'm telling you, you can trust Saliga Heating and Cooling because that's why they're still going strong 100 years later, because they've earned that trust. One other thing to tell you about really quick. They have a maintenance plan called the Priority Club. It'll extend the life of your equipment. You'll save some money. But if you want to find out everything you need to know about Saliga Heating and Cooling, just go to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Thank you very much.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, they reopened southbound 55 south of Loughborough from the earlier car fire, but the right lane is still blocked until they can get a tow truck to tow it away. So only one lane open southbound 55. Traffic is jammed back to about President Street, so south of Arsenal all the way down through Loughborough, a solid jam. Northbound, they opened up that left lane where the fire pumper was, but there's still delays from Bayless up through Loughborough on northbound 55 as well. Westbound 64, Hampton headed out through Big Bend. There's a couple of slowdowns, and after that, it looks good all the way out to Wentzville. South 170 backs up at Brentwood. Eastbound 64, 170 through Hanley have got delays. Eastbound 70, looks like that tractor trailer is cleared to the shoulder at Wentzville Parkway. It's still slow coming in from David Hokel Parkway, and it's also slow Earth City into 270, and eastbound 64, 157 midway to 159, the typical delays. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Now, back to the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Sponsored by Busey Bank. Building community with Busey Bank. Beyond the game.
Got a little Turnstile Friday going. Bernie Miklasz, Kevin Wheeler with you here on Redbird Rush Hour. Coming up 6 o'clock hour. I'm filling in for our buddy Matt Pauley. He's got the evening off, so I'll be taking care of Sports Open Line. We'll talk to Joe Sheehan, our buddy Joe Sheehan. All right, look at this. Bernie's got the Turnstile hat. That is great. That is great.
Absolutely, baby. Yep.
I'm glad we've made you a fan. That's good. Now we got all three of us, you and me and Kyle Sixty here, a bunch of Turnstile guys.
Yeah. Great. What a great band.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Absolutely. I'm not going to get into it, but they had some weird behind-the-scenes stuff recently, like a former band member tried to kill the singer's dad. Really weird stuff.
Yeah, I know about it. But the band they have in its current form,
phenomenal.
Now, man, every single one of them is just awesome person. So I like it.
Love them.
All
right. Back to the baseball side. All right, dealer's choice here, Bern. You want to talk Mason Wynn or Ivan Herrera here?
It's up to you. I mean, well, let's go Mason Wynn.
Okay, let's do Mason Wynn.
I've kind of calmed down since we chatted via text. Let me go through this really quick. I was really surprised he was in the lineup today, because listen, when you're on Highway 4064 and it's a wet day and you're driving and you lose control of the vehicle because you're skidding, you're hydroplaning. And as Mason Wynn said, you bang into two different barriers, like you're caroming off barriers. And so he's taken not a direct hit, but he's taken a big hit that he had to absorb. And we all saw the front end of his car. This was not some little fender bender. This guy got banged hard, okay, to the point where they insisted he go to the hospital. Okay, he comes out of the hospital. He pronounces himself okay. Well, from the standpoint of walking around, he was fine.
Yeah.
Should he have been in the lineup 48 hours later? Should he have been in the lineup? I don't know. I see no reason to push it on April the 3rd. That's just me.
Well, and so for people that missed it, after the game today, Derek Gould tweeted and had it in the game story that Mason Wynn said that the hip tightness that took him out of the game today started on Tuesday. So that's been brewing for 4 days. And then you throw in a car accident in the middle of it. It does actually raise the question, like, okay, so after both of those things, maybe it would have been best to not play. And also in Derek Gould's story, Wynn said that he expects to not play tomorrow. So
you better not.
Yeah. So, and that would be a good start, Bernie, to actually take guys that are banged up and give them the rest instead of playing through it for 3 months and letting it linger. But that would have also maybe made it make sense. But, the problem sometimes is the players aren't honest. And they'll tell the team, I'm fine. And then you get halfway through a competitive game and you're like, oh, yeah, it's kind of barking at me.
That's happened a lot around here. And you and I in particular have really crabbed about that a lot.
Yeah.
If I have one thing about Ali that I wish I could change about his managing, because I think he gets a bad rap on a lot of things, he just lets guys talk their way into the lineup. And they're not going to tell you the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. By the way, this is why you also have trainers and doctors.
Yeah.
This is why you also can look at the schedule and say, well, it's April the 3rd. Gosh, how many games do we have left? 150, what? 154?
Yeah.
150? You just exercise a little caution. And the fact that this hip thing started bothering him Tuesday, so that you go from the hip thing where it's uncomfortable, discomfort, pain, stiffness, whatever. He's dealing with that. Then the next day he gets walloped in the car accident and he goes to the hospital, and then they fly to Detroit. The fact that he had the hip thing and he's been dealing with that makes the fact that he was in the starting lineup today, in my opinion, even more incomprehensible. I just don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, again, when we're going to talk about early, I would like to see more precautions taken with your young star.
Yeah.
And not just him. I mean, we talked about this with Newt last year, with Donovan last year, that just because the guy says he's okay doesn't mean you need to give it to him. Like if he says he's okay, you're like, great, you're still getting an extra day. And then we'll see how it goes tomorrow. There's no harm in that. And it's going to lead to a day off tomorrow anyway, the way it turned out. So maybe be a little more proactive on it, and it would be a little easier.
And listen, I don't know. Let's just say Mason Wynn was totally healthy, okay? I know that Ali wanted to give JJ Weatherholt a day.
Sure.
And I actually am fine with that. People need to go look at Baseball Reference or whatever and see the total number of games he played in a season in college. He's never played this volume of
baseball. You're playing 65 games in college. Yeah.
So this is a long road. I'd like to see the guy have a chance to win Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
And that means maybe, he gets some breaks along the way because he's dealing with something he's never been through before.
For sure.
Number one, not only being in the major leagues, major league pitching for the first time, but you're going to play 162 or you're going to be around for 162. Why would anybody want to wear him down and burn him out? I don't understand. Like what does the team gain from that? What do the fans gain from that? What do we gain from that? Nothing.
No. But a lot
you
of
times, pace it, man.
Yeah, a lot of times the player gets what he wants. And, as I said to you, sometimes the parents have to tell the kids that you don't get dessert for dinner.
So exactly. Let me just wrap this one thing up. I'll be quick. So maybe he would have brought JJ Weatherholt in the game anyway. It had nothing to do with Mason Wynn. He might have brought him in just to pitch.
Right.
But I was schooled by Tony La Russa on that. He always said, listen, man, when I'm giving a guy a day off, it's a day off. I don't want to see you. You're not going to play unless it's an absolute emergency or something. So I don't understand, managers, any manager who will tell the media before the game, well, he needs a day. We really think he needs a day. So we're going to give him a day. And then they don't give him a day because they got him in the game in the fifth inning. and he takes 2 at bats, and he's diving for balls and all that stuff. So if you're going to give a guy a day off, give him a day off. But this is where the Mason Wynn stuff comes in, because I think it was a factor in Weatherholt coming in, I think was related to Wynn leaving the game.
Makes sense.
So you had a fallout that affected another player. That's another reason I didn't like it.
Really good point. All right, we got more coming up. We're going to talk a bit about Ivan Herrera, a little bit more about the pitching staff, and certainly look ahead to the weekend as well. But with all this going on, we can forget that the Final Four is this weekend, and FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of KMOX. They're also a partner with the tournament and with Major League Baseball, and they're trying to get us something fun to add on to these last 3 college basketball games. So FanDuel's been giving all customers a profit boost every single game day throughout the tournament. That goes through the championship game on Monday. So you got another opportunity Saturday for the 2 games in the Final Four, another one on Monday. So you can build a same game parlay for the shot at the bigger payout. You can try live betting, jump in after the opening tip. But best of all, with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win, and it's really easy to get going. Just go to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started. That's where you can claim your first profit boost. You can keep the action going all the way through the end of the championship game on Monday. Just remember, you have to be 21 or older and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. And restrictions apply as well, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
At 5:30, this update is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's a cloudy sky and 81 degrees downtown at the Arch. 2 U.S. military planes shot down in separate incidents, escalating tensions in the ongoing conflict in Iran. 1 fighter jet was shot down. A U.S. crew member was rescued, but another remains missing. Separately, Iranian state media reported a U.S. A-10 attack aircraft crashed into the Persian Gulf. Strong words against the war in Iran from the Catholic Archbishop who heads the Archdiocese for Military Services in the U.S., KMOX religion editor Fred Bottomer.
In an interview that will air Easter Sunday on CBS's Face the Nation, Archbishop Timothy Broglio says under the just war theory, the attack on Iran comes up short and he calls for more negotiations.
I realize also that you could say, well, with whom are you going to negotiate? And that is a problem. But in the meantime, lives are being lost both there and also among our troops. So it is a concern.
When asked what he would tell Catholic soldiers serving in the military who are caught between obedience and conscience, he says he would advise them to do as little harm as they can and preserve innocent lives. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Just steps away from the Arch, a local defeated one of the best pool players in the world.
Justin Bergman, the St. Louis native, said it felt unbelievable when he defeated the 7th-ranked player in the world, Germany's Joshua Filler. Bergman says he knew early on he was more than just the best player at his local pool hall.
I just always had a love for the game, and I was always good, even, since I was a little kid.
Bergman says he was nervous when his 3-match lead was erased and Filler tied it up 7-7. Bergman went on to win 8-7 in the 8-ball World Championship second round. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Forest Park Southeast residents should expect plenty of construction in the coming week as a local business begins a project valued at more than $4 million.
Construction is underway on a new bed and breakfast project from property owner Alan Chang after a successful appeal to the St. Louis Board of Adjustment this March.
Basically, we plan on using this space to partner up with the Dogwood, such as wedding events and WashU, as far as students and scholars coming in.
Now, with board approval, Chang has started construction at 4210 Manchester Avenue, one of a handful of buildings in the 4200 block that will be renovated. His plans include converting the second and third floors of each building into a combined bed and breakfast and leaving plenty of retail space on the first floor. Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, for tonight, showers and some storms possible. Overnight low, 55. For tomorrow, we'll start off with showers in the morning, then the skies clear. It'll be windy and cool with the high in the 60s, but we'll drop into the 50s as we go through the day. Clear skies Saturday night, 40. For Easter Sunday, high 58 with sunshine. Right now, downtown at the Arch, we've got clouds. It's 81. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Spring cleaning rule number 1, out with the old, in with the new. And frankly, your family's old internet connection is a dinosaur. Upgrade to the 1 gig modern family standard from i3 Broadband. It's 100% true in-home fiber with equal upload and download speeds, so your teenager's gaming won't crash your video call. Even better, we're currently offering our longest price guarantees ever on our gig speed internet services. Say goodbye to exploding promo prices and hello to budget certainty. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right.
Hey, Bernie Miklasz here. I really want to tell you about Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. It is a great St. Louis business owned by Stuart Rosenblum. You can call him Stewie. His son works there too. His son helps him run it. You go in there, you see everyone in the office. It's like one big family. They're fantastic at what they do, and they have a great track record. So if you have any questions about how do I do this? I'm going to buy a home. How do I pay for this? What's the financing process? Don't worry about it. Stewie Rosenblum, and you call him Stewie, he's unique because he gives out his personal cell phone number, and that's not a gimmick. He really does. Not only his customers that are there now, but anyone who just needs some help and they're confused by the process. You can call him. Put this number on your contacts list, 314-324-4440, and you won't have to wait and hold for a long time and then maybe not even get an answer or anybody picking up. Stewie will make sure you get the help you need and get it quickly. But the biggest difference with Stewart's American Mortgage is that you're going to pay less because he's the only lender that's got the bagel loan. It's famous now in St. Louis. Bagel loan because you pay zero. That zero in the middle of the bagel. You pay zero in fees that other dealers charge for. And this applies to just all kinds of financing there that they do at Stewart's American Mortgage. For example, when you buy a home and take out a loan for $200,000 or more, you pay zero lender fees. And it's right on down the line. So many different things. The bagel loan will save you literally thousands of dollars. But just go to Stewie because he'll make a confusing process easy to understand and he will help you. You want to find out more? Just Google bagel loan and it'll take you right there. When you Google bagel loan, it'll take you right there to his site. Or call Stewie directly at 314-324-4440.
Bernie Miklasz on KMOX is sponsored by Stewart's American Mortgage, home of the bagel loan, and by Salika Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really helped me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424.
Want to make the most of your tax refund? File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it with a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
You know, here in St. Louis, word of mouth still matters, and I'm pretty careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. I'm Tom Ackerman. My family has been working with the Lederman Law Firm for over 20 years now, and the reason is simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They help make sure your plan works. Because let's be honest, life changes. Family needs and circumstances change. Laws change. But most estate plans don't change over time as needs, circumstances, and laws change. They're outdated, sitting in a drawer. People assume they're fine, and their plan will work when they need it to work. At the Lederman Law Firm, it's not a one-time transaction. It's an ongoing process. They build a plan to protect your family and your assets, and then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. Check out the Lederman Law Firm at LedermanLaw.com or give them a call at 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Looking to build your dream home? Lombardo Homes is known for quality, luxury, and thoughtful design in some of the area's most desirable communities. And for a limited time this April, we're offering something we rarely do. Exclusive incentives designed to help you get more from your new home. From a free finished recreation room to premium kitchen and cabinet upgrades to flexible perks like design credits or closing cost savings, there's an opportunity waiting for you. But these offers are available in select communities and only for a short time. Visit LombardoHomes.com or stop by a sales office today.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com traffic center.
Well, we still got our trouble spot on southbound 55. That right lane is still closed south of Loughborough from the earlier vehicle fire, waiting for a tow truck to come and haul that away. So it's still a solid jam back through 4500 Broadway on southbound 55. Again, if you're in a hurry, you can take westbound 44 home because that is doing great so far for you this afternoon. There are no delays there. If you're on westbound 64 going home, you've got some heavy traffic from right at about the McCausland area, just a little busy out through the Bellevue stretch. Eastbound 64, a little slow, 170 to Big Bend. Eastbound 70, still a little slow into Wentzville Parkway from an earlier stall. We had a stall clear to the shoulder near 270, so eastbound 70 slow at Earth City because of that one. Other than that, the rest of these highways not bad. 64 westbound's a little slow at 159 on the Illinois side. I'm Roger Brand in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com traffic center.
Now, back to the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Sponsored by Busey Bank. Building community with Busey Bank. Beyond the game.
All right, back in on the Redbird Rush Hour. Bernie Miklasz, Kevin Wheeler with you here till 6. And then I'm going to hang out and take care of Sports Open Line. My buddy Matt Pauley, he's got the night off, so we'll be talking ball. We'll take a bunch of calls, I think, in the 7 o'clock hour and take some messages on the stream as well. We'll have Joe Sheehan, I think, at 6:20. Is that right? So our mutual friend, Bernie, Joe Sheehan's going to join us. We'll talk a little ball. So
All right.
Be a good time. So let's talk about Ivan Herrera specifically behind the plate. The other day didn't go badly. You know, he caught a pretty good game. Didn't get tested on the throws, but he did twice today get tested on throws, and the throws were brutal. The velocity on the throws was below 77 miles an hour on both of them. Neither one of them was on the bag. The first throw was probably 10 feet short of the bag and got a really weird in-between hop for the infielder. Second throw was probably 3 feet off the bag to the shortstop side and bounced. And again, both of them were below 77 miles an hour, Bernie. So last year in Major League Baseball, of all catchers that threw 20 or more throws down to second base, only 3 guys averaged below 78 miles an hour on those throws. So these throws we're talking about will be very bottom of the scale for regular catchers in Major League Baseball. And when you combine the problems with the accuracy, you can't, like I was telling this to Kyle during the week, I'm a catching guy, right? There are 3 elements to balance.
No, not you.
Yeah,
I never knew that.
I'm a nerd, but there are 3 elements to balance, right? You've got to have the exchange time be quick. You've got to put it on the bag, and the better velocity, the better chance. But if any one of those 3 is off, the runner's going to be safe if he doesn't trip and fall. And I don't know how long they're going to do this, but this is why I'm skeptical. The first time he gets tested, it's not even close to being acceptable.
I'm with you. I do wonder what the shelf life is on this.
Yeah, good question.
It is a rebuild. It is the type of year where you can take extra time with stuff like this.
True. Yeah.
But to your point, if a guy can't throw hard, he can't throw hard. So what are you waiting for? In other words, like, well, what? So you're waiting on something that's not going to happen. What? All of a sudden he's gonna throw like Yachty or Pudge Rodriguez? No.
Yeah. The time to gain velocity would be in the off season, but he couldn't do that because he had elbow surgery. And remember, like last year, so before 2025, he went to Driveline to work on his arm strength. So we had that a year and a half ago, and then an injury here this past offseason. Didn't get a chance to do any of that, and it's not going to miraculously just get better.
And the other thing too, this isn't just kind of happening in a vacuum. Like if you just had some journeyman down in Memphis or whatever.
Good point.
You've got two of your top 100 prospects catching at Memphis and splitting time.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that both of those guys right now are immensely better than Ivan Herrera behind the plate. Jimmy Crooks and Leonardo Bernal.
Yeah.
Especially Bernal. Okay. Both those guys have great reputations. All the independent evaluators really like them. They're two of the Cardinals' top prospects. They've earned that acclaim. They're going to be in the majors, both of them, for a long time. And they're down there in AAA and they're sharing time while this circus is going on up here. It isn't just the Herrera problems with his mechanics and his arm and his throwing. It's also the situation where, as you and I have talked about, and we're not trying to be mean.
No.
These people have convinced themselves somehow that Pedro Pages is Yadier Molina. He's Mike Matheny. He's Tom Pagnazzi. He's Pudge Rodriguez. He's Tony Pena. It's just remarkable to me the way he is just held in this incredibly high regard. He can't hit. I think he's been really sloppy behind the plate. What in the hell is the fascination with this guy?
I'm with you, and I think you hit on it, Bern. That let's just hope that the turnaround time isn't 4 or 5 months, right? If we get to May or June and you're not seeing, like, Jimmy Crooks is off to a great start at Memphis, and that doesn't mean he's ready to hit in the majors, but you know what I mean, like he's doing his part. And when you look at him as a catcher in the major leagues, he didn't hit last year. But his average throwing velocity was 83 miles an hour, and his average pop time was 1.86. People are not running on that. That's Molina stuff, right? That 1.86, nobody's running on that. And I think that there's going to be a time where we need to see him. I was kind of hoping it would be early and just have him and Pages split it. But now the way they're doing it, though, means you've got to carry a guy like Pozo with the idea that he's just not going to play.
Exactly. Exactly. And I understand why, in a way, if as long as they insist on having Herrera as part of the catching mix, you really don't have a choice. Although some people made a good argument, I think a really sound argument about actually you wouldn't really need Pozo. You can, you might have to burn your DH if Pages gets beat up and has to leave the game.
Right.
Herrera you have to forfeit your DH spot basically by putting him behind the plate.
Mm-hmm.
But how many times is that going to happen over a 2 or 3 year period?
Typically not
Once?
Very often. Yeah.
So I don't know, man. This is strange. It's in a rebuild, and it's like we're giving opportunities to young players. You have two of your best prospects are catchers. They're both on top 100 in all the baseball prospect lists. Those two guys are exactly what this is supposed to be about. And you're going with 27-year-old Pedro Pages. Is he going to be a guy when you're a team that's really good again? Is Pedro Pages going to be your guy behind a plate?
Probably not.
Well, I tell you what, I tell you what, with the people running the team, he might be.
I mean, I'm with you. I think he's a good catcher, but I don't think he's what he's portrayed to be.
That's right.
Right. And I think you agree with that. Like he does things well. He throws well. He does a good job calling a game. All that's great. His blocking is not good. It wasn't good last year, and it's been bad this year. And I know that's only one element. And I'm okay with the guy on the team. If he were playing like 1 out of every 3 games and Crooks were catching 2 out of every 3, I'd be all right with that. No big deal.
I would too, man. I would too.
And in that case, I think we're going to have to find Herrera a position, and I think it's going to end up being first base. Unfortunately, your first baseman is Burley, and he's pretty good there.
I thought, wait a minute, the log jams, are we, what's happened? Am I having flashbacks? I'm having flashbacks.
Just different positions.
Log jams.
It is pretty funny. All right, we got more baseball to do in a minute. Bernie, before we do that, though, how about you tell us about Window World?
I'd be proud to. Thank you. I am proud to talk about Window World. Listen, for 20 years, they've been the gold standard for St. Louis families who need windows, and I want to give you the number right at the top. 1-800-GET-WINDOWS, 1-800-GET-WINDOWS. Well, what separates Window World? Well, it's a commitment to service. They're ranked #1 in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. They're one of only 2 brands to earn the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. They got an A+ rating for the Better Business Bureau. And this is not a big corporate national business. This St. Louis, this St. Louis location has been locally owned and operated by folks born and raised here in St. Louis for over 23 years. They've improved homes for over 80,000 neighbors in St. Louis and Illinois with a lifetime warranty that covers parts, labor, and even glass breakage. Listen, they're always offering specials. Right now, they got 36 months same as cash financing with approved credit at Window World. So if you're ready for new windows, siding, or doors, you call them for a free in-home estimate. One more time, 1-800-GET-WINDOWS. That's 1-800-GET-WINDOWS.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, the only jam we have is still southbound 55. That right lane to southbound 55 still closed south of Loughborough from the earlier vehicle fire. Still waiting on a tow truck. Southbound 55 is jammed at 4500 Broadway. Eastbound 64 slow. 170 into Big Bend. South 170 just ramping on to eastbound 64. You've got delays. Eastbound 70 still slow. Earth City into 270 due to an earlier stall. I'm Roger Brand in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
What matters to you matters to us. That's why Busey Bank takes the time to understand your goals and build solutions that fit your story. From everyday banking to long-term planning, our team is here to help you navigate every stage with care and expertise. We're more than a bank. We're your neighbor, your advisor, and your advocate. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Meet Linda. She's stuck on a school pickup line, thinking about what to make for dinner. Are the kids' practice jerseys clean? If she sent out that last email before leaving work. But you know what she's not thinking about? Her HVAC system. Linda is a preferred partner with Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. Members get 2 HVAC system checks per year. We clean and inspect your HVAC systems at each visit. Partners also get priority service and exclusive discounts starting at just $19 per month. Life is chaos, but with Air Comfort Service, you'll have peace of mind with your HVAC system. Visit aircomfortservice.com today. After all, comfort is our middle name.
Now, back to the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Sponsored by Busey Bank. Building community with Busey Bank. Beyond the game.
All right, just a few minutes left, Redbird Rush Hour, and then 6 o'clock we got Sports Open Line. I'll be pitch hitting for my buddy Matt Pauley tonight. He's out, so I got you till 8 o'clock tonight. Bernie, let's do one quick good thing on the defensive side today, because Jordan Walker has run into what we would all expect, right? A little bit of a tough time at the plate. Everybody's going to. He's had a little bit of a run here where he's not getting hits. I think what's it now? 0 for the last 10, maybe, or something like that.
Last 4 games, 1 for 13.
Right. But he made 2 excellent defensive plays today, and that's what I hope. One of the things I hope for him, in addition to being a more consistent hitter who can provide some pop, is that the defense is at least adequate and that one thing doesn't affect the other, because today he impacted this game with defense. He kept a double to a single with a great play of a ball off the wall and a strong throw, and he threw out Javi Baez at home plate on a 100-mile-an-hour throw. So I want to recognize that, because in the past, sometimes when he's not hitting, the defense starts to waver, and I hope that stops this year.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, that throw that cut down Baez, I've been around a long time, and that's one of the best throws I've ever seen from an outfielder.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you said, 100 miles an hour, and you think he threw it from the pitching mound. I mean, this is like this is a big time strike, like a perfect strike, 100 miles an hour from the outfield. It was really something. I mean, I'm not going to put it up with those two Rick Ankiel throws from Coors Field, but man, no. But your overarching point is absolutely correct. It's a good sign that he doesn't take whatever hitting duress he's under, doesn't take it down, take it out to the outfield.
Because given his traits, there's no reason for him to be a bad defender anymore. You don't have to be great, but he runs too well and throws too well to be a bad defender.
I agree. I mean, he still does the thing where he gets turned around. I'm not sure why that's happening.
Yeah.
But I do think overall he's been better. He's been getting better. But every now and then the footwork is a problem for him.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I want this guy to keep his confidence and get going again. I'm not ready to go nuts because he's 1 for 13. I don't think we can do this all year, Kevin. Seriously, from a mental health standpoint,
you're right.
I don't think we can live game to game based on what Jordan Walker's box score line is at the plate. I don't think we can do that. Just play.
Yep.
Play. Check once a week. Check the trends every couple weeks. Just let them play.
Totally agree. Bern, have a great weekend, buddy. Happy Easter. Enjoy it.
Happy Easter.
We'll check in again on Monday when we got the three of us back here doing this very same. Actually, no, we won't because we got Cardinals baseball early on Monday. So we'll probably do this next Friday again with the three of us. But have a great weekend, Bern. We got Sports Open Line coming up after the news here on KMOX.
Do you ever feel like people are mumbling more than they used to? Or maybe conversations at restaurants and family gatherings have gotten harder to follow? If this sounds familiar, it might be time to learn more about your hearing. That's why we're inviting you to a special lunch and learn at the Audiology Center. This event is on April 29th for various time slots. It's a relaxed and friendly gathering where our certified audiologists will talk about hearing and hearing loss, answer your questions, and share how today's hearing aids can help you connect with the moments that matter most. Hearing loss often happens slowly, and many people don't realize how much they're missing. It's important to know how untreated hearing loss can negatively affect you in the long term. It's a no-pressure event, just good station and good information, and lunch is on us. Seats are limited, so please call 636-441-7470 to reserve your spot for our free lunch and learn at the Audiology Center on April 29th. Take the first step towards hearing more clearly.
Hey, it's Matt Foley. I want to tell you about my friends over at St. Louis Weight Loss Injections. They are the absolute best. Have you been thinking about talking to somebody about getting on GLP-1? Maybe you're a candidate. Maybe you don't know if you're a candidate. Well, you should talk to the folks at STL Weight Loss Injections. They'll be upfront with you. They'll be honest. Maybe they'll tell you, yeah, this would be great for you. Maybe they tell you, you know what, this probably isn't the right fit. But either way, they want your best interest to be the most important part of meeting with you. And then once you get started with it, they are absolutely fantastic. They make it really easy. It's $199 for the first month. We all know the GLP-1s work. I mean, it doesn't, you can see all the celebrities, everybody that's using it. You've probably got people in your life that are using them and have had tons and tons of success with it. So just find out. That would be my thing for you. You're thinking about it? Talk to them. They'd love to have a conversation. Head to the website, stlweightlossinjections.com, stlweightlossinjections.com, or give them a call, 636-244-5333, stlweightlossinjections.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs, attorneys, and for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertising.
Get ready to laugh out loud, St. Louis. The outrageous Broadway hit Spam-A-Lot is riding into the fabulous Fox Theater May 5th through the 17th. From the twisted minds of Monty Python, this Tony Award-winning musical brings you killer rabbits, dancing knights, and non-stop hilarity. It's the legend of King Arthur like you've never seen it before. More information can be found at KMOX.com/events.
Traffic from the MichaelsFloorandOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, we've still got our jam on southbound 55. That right lane remains closed south of Loughborough from the earlier vehicle fire. It's jammed between 4500 Broadway and Bates on southbound 55 right now. Other than that, eastbound 64 is a little busy approaching Big Bend. Eastbound Highway 70 has a slowdown through Cave Springs and east of Z. We have a crash 61 near Double T near 55. There's another crash reported. And on New Sugar Creek south of Hawkins, we have an injury crash. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. 2 incidents today involving U.S. military planes. First, CBS's Natalie Brand reports.
CBS News has confirmed U.S. forces rescued one of the 2 crew members of an F-15 that went down over Iran. Social media video showed 2 Black Hawk helicopters and a C-130 in what appeared to be part of the effort.
Operating low and pretty slow in broad daylight over Iran, looking for this downed aircrew. It's the kind of thing you would only do in a situation where you were willing to assume extraordinary risk because your objective is so important, namely saving some lives here.
That's CBS News national security analyst Aaron McLean. Also, 2 U.S. officials tell CBS News an A-10 Warthog, part of the search for the fighter jet crew, took fire. Its pilot ejected over the Persian Gulf and was rescued. According to CBS's Nancy Cordes at the White House.
The president has posted a couple of times today, but not about the F-15. He's mostly been posting about Iranian oil. In one cryptic message, he said in just a 4-word post, basically, does anyone want the oil? With a question mark. Wasn't quite clear what he was referring to, but he has been talking.
U.S. employers added a surprisingly strong 178,000 jobs last month, rebounding from a weak February. The unemployment rate dipped, but as CBS's Kelly O'Grady explains,
the reason why it ticked down is because less people were in the workforce. A lot of people dropped out. And so when they calculate that 4.3%, it's based on how many people are in the workforce or actively looking.
Speaking of the workforce, women in the workplace are at risk amid a drop in hybrid and remote roles over the last 4 years. CBS's Allison Keyes with that.
At Indeed, Priya Rathod warns that the jobs website has seen a 14% slide in remote and hybrid roles, and women are disproportionately affected.
There's rising healthcare and housing costs, and the workforce isn't keeping up with flexibility and the ability to work remote, which women need to stay in the workforce.
Experts say women need more paid leave, childcare assistance, and backup to stay competitive in the workforce. Allison Keyes, CBS News.
On day 3 of the Artemis II moon mission, the Orion is on track, and Mission Control's message to the crew:
the burn was so small and our trajectory is so precise. After the translunar injection burn yesterday at 6:49 p.m. Central Time, there is simply not a need for that OTC-1 burn today.
The lunar flyby is scheduled for Monday. President Trump has signed an executive order aimed at college sports. Now, it would give federal agencies authority to cut funding at schools that do not comply with mandates covering transfers, eligibility, and pay for play in the rapidly changing industry. This is CBS News.
It's one of the most successful law and justice programs in television history that continues to uncover the truth. 48 Hours, Saturday on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Nothing but net. Nice shot. Man, I miss playing basketball. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
Lower testosterone?
Yeah, men just lose their edge after 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
Nugenix, the testosterone booster.
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula. It skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours and boosts your body's free and total testosterone in just 2 weeks. Since I started taking it, my energy is way up. I feel like like I did back when we played for Coach Mac. And it's even spiced things up with my wife.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text SPIRAL to 215215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text SPIRAL to 215215. That's SPIRAL to 215215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
At 6:04, it's a cloudy sky and 80 degrees downtown at the Arch. Safety improvements in downtown are testing drivers' patience.
Mayor Kara Spencer says the city is making adjustments to bump outs downtown after hours-long traffic jams trapped visitors after a weekend with many simultaneous events. Spencer says she wants to see better collaboration moving forward.
I'm challenging the downtown partners, the business community, as well as my streets department and our teams to really make sure that we have a coordinated approach to how we're investing in street infrastructure.
Spencer adds the bump out in front of the Hilton made it nearly impossible to get into their drop-off area. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The Archbishop, who heads the Archdiocese for Military Services in the United States, declared the war in Iran unjust in an interview that will air Easter Sunday on Face the Nation. KMOX religion editor Fred Bottomer.
After declaring the war to be unjust, Archbishop Timothy Broglio was then asked what he would tell Catholic soldiers serving in the military who are caught between obedience and conscience.
I would think it depends on where you are in the chain of command. Obviously, the Marine who's given an order, he's not in a position really to resist that order. I mean, he has to obey unless it's clearly immoral. And then he would probably have to speak to his chaplain, to his chain of command. So I guess my counsel would be to do as little harm as you can and to try and preserve innocent lives.
Archbishop Broglio rebuked Pete Hegseth's recent invocation of Jesus from the Pentagon press room by saying it's hard to cast this war as something that would be sponsored by the Lord. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
A local scientist says the Artemis II launch really caught the attention of the world.
I was amazed at how popular, this whole event was in terms of people around the world. So we're back, and it really demonstrates that human flight, gets a lot of attention relative to what I've been involved with, the robotic systems. The landers, the rovers that I've been involved in, they get a lot of attention, but nothing like the humans, going to space. So it's really exciting.
Dr. Ray Arvidsson is a retired WashU professor and is a member of the Mars Science Laboratory and Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter mission science teams with NASA.
Sir, drop whatever in your hand. Drop what's in your hand.
St. Louis County Police have released the dash and body cam footage of a February officer-involved shooting in Overland. The footage shows police first confronting the gunman, later identified as 71-year-old Robert Lewis. As a victim shouts, he was pistol-whipped by Lewis. Lewis then retreats inside the home, breaking out windows and pointing a firearm at responding officers as they surround the house. Eventually, one officer fires 3 shots, killing Lewis. He was found dead inside with a pistol and a large knife. Today, the number 7 ranked pool player in the world defeated by local St. Louis and Justin Bergman at a tournament held at the downtown Hyatt next to the Arch grounds. Bergman was happy to see dozens of people he knows able to attend and support him.
A lot of my friends, family, so yeah, it means a lot.
Bergman says there was added pressure when his 3-match lead was erased without him being able to touch the table the entire time because his opponent would not miss. Let's help you miss the traffic jams with the help of Captain Roger Brand.
Well, we only have one traffic jam out there right now, Michael, and that's southbound 55. It's been a problem for a while. The right lane is still closed, southbound 55, south of Lawborough from the earlier vehicle fire, waiting for a tow truck to drag it away. So in the meantime, you're jammed back to about Bates, so it's not too terrible. It is, but it is a solid bumper-to-bumper backup because there's only one lane getting through. They cleared that stall. That's what the slowdown was, eastbound 70 Cave Springs. That's back on the go. The only other interstate delay we have is just a slowdown on the Illinois side, eastbound 70 Packers Avenue over to 64. I'm Roger Brand in the Michael's Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
Our unsettled weather is in play as a cold front starts to move our way. Look for periods of showers, a couple of thunderstorms. It's windy all night long once again. About 55 should do it for the overnight low. On Saturday, the front pushes through, but not until about midday or so. Morning showers, then clearing skies. It's windy. Warmest part of the day will be first thing in the morning. maybe touching 60 degrees, but much of the day will hold in the 50s, but the end is near. Saturday night, mostly clear, windy. It's chilly. 40 degrees Sunday, Easter Sunday, sunrise 6:40. Sunny, breezy, 58 degrees. So a cool day again on Sunday. On Sunday night, clear skies, 42. It stays chilly on Monday, sunny and 63. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is a cloudy sky right now, 80 degrees downtown at the Arch. Kevin Wheeler up next. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Come on, let's get going now.
From KMOX Sports.
We're primed and ready. All day, baby. Man, let's go.
This is the Gray Bar Sports Open Live. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. On 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Great to be with you guys on a Friday night. My buddy Matt Pauley's got the evening off, and he'll be back to business as usual on Monday. We will not have Sports Open Line or Redbird Rush Hour on Monday, just looking ahead because the Cardinals games in Washington, D.C. start a little earlier. They're 5:45 start times, which means pregame is going to be around 4:45, 4:50. So early next week, we won't be doing this unless there's rain. You never know. There could be some changes. There could be rain tomorrow, but we're not here tomorrow. Sports Open Line doesn't go on the weekends. In Detroit, though, it's going to be dicey the rest of the weekend. It's supposed to rain a lot tomorrow. It's going to be cold on Sunday. 42 degrees, I think, is supposed to be the high on Sunday, and it's a night game for the Cards and the Tigers. So takes me flashback, dude. I grew up there in Detroit and playing high school baseball in this time of year, and it sucks. It's always cold, snowflakes falling. Hopefully it won't be that bad. And if they can't play tomorrow, hopefully they'll get 2 in on Sunday. So we got a lot to do. Here's the general plan for Sports Open Line tonight. This hour, we got one guest. We'll have Joe Sheehan coming up in about 10 minutes. Joe's great, publishes the Joe Sheehan Baseball newsletter. He's an OG when it comes to kind of analytically thinking guys. He's one of the founding members of Baseball Prospectus. He's been doing his own newsletter now for years. Can't wait to talk to him about some of the early ABS stuff. We'll talk about the Cardinals, of course, and a few other stories like Connor Griffin making his major league debut. I think I want to talk to him about the extensions for young guys, too, and we can kind of tie J.J. Weatherholt into that conversation. So a lot going on there. Outside of that this hour, feel free to jump in on the stream. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, if you got comments, questions, opinions, throw them at me. We can fight. We can not fight. We can agree. It's all good, man. It's just going to be people talking sports. So feel free to go whatever direction you want when it comes to the Cardinals as we go through this hour. And the next hour, we're going to open up the phone lines. I haven't taken calls in so long. I mean, on this, because you can't, not to get too inside baseball on how it works, but Redbird Rush Hour is a little tight because you've got news and you've got traffic updates and there's 2 or 3 of us. It gets really tight for time. But on Sports Open Line, it's more open. So we're going to open up the phone lines. We'll do that in the 7 o'clock hour. So feel free to join in on that when we get to that time. Let's just kind of start from the beginning, right? Cardinals fall today in Detroit. 4-0 is the final score. So they're now 4-3 on the season. We had the good homestand to start. You get 2 out of 3 against the Rays and the Mets. It's a good start. It's good to have fun early. We've seen some of the possibilities here. But like today is the counter to that. Today is just the reminder that it's not always going to be pretty, right? I mean, you're going up against a good starting pitcher today. Framber Valdez was good, and he was good in his last outing too, which is why he's got a .75 ERA after 2 starts. And look, this guy's an all-star. He's a good player. This is the reminder, though, that it's not always going to be fun. It's not always going to be the young guys celebrating a walk-off. It's not always going to be super interesting. It can be boring. Today was boring. 5 hits, 3 walks, no runs scored. I know it was a weird lineup. Bernie and I touched on that about an hour ago, but for those of you that weren't with us, we got to get over the arguments about lineups, particularly this year. There will be a time when batting order and who sits and who doesn't, all that will be much more important. Those things are much more important when you're a team that's going to be a contender. This team is not going to be a contender in all likelihood. There is a scenario where it happens, but that's basically like best case, everything goes right. Right? All of the pitchers do what you think they'll do. Some guys in the lineup who have been struggling in recent years get better, right? Like, and nobody else regresses. Like it's going to take a lot of good luck and a lot of work to be anywhere near competing for a playoff spot. And it's not to say that it can't happen. And the players, the manager, the coaches, they should obviously all have that in mind. They want to win as many games as possible. The rest of us can be realistic. And where there's a hope is fine, but there's a difference between hope and expectation. Hope that you can be something special and have a fun, magical year is great. Expecting it, you're probably going to be disappointed. This is not setting up to be that kind of year, but you're going to get some of those really fun highs that we've already seen. And then you're going to have days like today that are kind of a dud. So I understand the questions about the pregame lineup, right? There were a lot of people, and I understand it. You're not necessarily wrong. In fact, no, let me just change that. You're not wrong to say, yeah, it's weird to go into another team's home opener with both Nolan Gorman and J.J. Weatherholt on the bench, in part because you're facing a left-handed pitcher. It's not an invalid position. It's a fair position. The point that Bernie and I were making earlier was it's just not worth getting worked up about right now, given the circumstances, and also given the fact that some of these guys just haven't been able to get on the field yet, right? Fermin and Pozo basically haven't played. So JC's barely played. And if you're going to find spots for them, the most advantageous places for them to play will be against a left-handed starter. That's why it is the way that it is. It doesn't mean you have to like it. It doesn't mean you have to agree with it. I don't entirely agree with it, but I understand it. And mostly I just understand that it's not that big of a deal. You're going to have lineups. Every team will. Every team has lineups like this one today at some point during the season. And you can say you don't need to do it early. That's a fine position, but keeping people healthy for 6 months is an ongoing thing. It's not something you address only after you've gotten behind. So again, I don't want to tell anybody that their position on it is wrong, because you're not. It's a weird lineup. It's not very good. But most teams, this is the thing that gets lost. Most teams do this. Most teams do not have a strong bench because most players that are strong are not bench players. The strong players are everyday players. And that's going to be an important thing to keep in mind as we go along through this. You guys feel free. We're going to be talking a lot throughout the course of the day about these topics. A little bit bigger picture, too, because I have more I want to talk about with Ivan Herrera's throwing. We had a couple of bad examples in the game today. I want to talk about some good stuff with Jordan Walker. We'll cover all of the good and the bad. And big picture, too. And then, as I mentioned, next hour we'll be taking some phone calls. So feel free to stick around for that. If you want to throw in your 2 cents, on the stream while we're in this hour, again, it's right there for you. If you're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, feel free to do that. Coming up next, though, we're going to pick things back up and talk baseball with Joe Sheehan. He is the publisher of the Joe Sheehan Baseball Newsletter. He's fantastic. We'll cover a bunch of big issues, some on the national level, some on the Cardinals level. We'll get to him coming up next on KMOX.
Well, things are really heating up in the tournament, and FanDuel is giving all customers a profit boost every single game day leading up to the big championship game. Build a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. Or if you've never done it before or have even, and you'd like to try it again, live betting. You can jump in after tip-off has already happened. Best of all, with FanDuel, if you win, you're going to get paid instantly, and that is a great deal. FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started. Just go there. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri to claim your first profit boost and keep the action going from now till the big championship game, which is upon us. FanDuel, play your game. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Spring cleaning is upon us, but there's one meaningful box that you don't throw away when cleaning out your closet. It's the box filled with your family's important videotapes, film reels, and photos. Hi, I'm Adam Baselogger.
And I'm Nick Mako. We started Legacy Box over a decade ago to help families organize and update their analog media to digital.
Legacy Box is simple and easy. It works and is safe. Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box.
And Legacy Box has been featured in Good Housekeeping, The Today Show, and Rachel Ray.
Legacy Box is like magic, converting your shoebox of memories to the cloud or thumb drive, ready to watch and share.
Declutter your closet by digitizing your media. Become more organized and accomplished, knowing your family's recorded past is safe forever. Take advantage of our spring cleaning sale going on now. It's the easiest task to check off your to-do list.
For a limited time, you can get started for just $9 a tape. Visit legacybox.com/radio to get our $9 sale. That's legacybox.com/radio to get our $9 offer. Legacybox.com/radio.
Spring cleaning rule number 1, out with the old, in with the new. And frankly, your family's old internet connection is a dinosaur. Upgrade to the 1 gig modern family standard from i3 Broadband. It's 100% true in-home fiber with equal upload and download speeds, so your teenager's gaming won't crash your video call. Even better, we're currently offering our longest price guarantees ever on our gig speed internet services. Say goodbye to exploding promo prices and hello to budget certainty. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Looking to build your dream home? Lombardo Homes is known for quality, luxury, and thoughtful design in some of the area's most desirable communities. And for a limited time this April, we're offering something we rarely do. Exclusive incentives designed to help you get more from your new home. From a free finished recreation room to premium kitchen and cabinet upgrades to flexible perks like design credits or closing cost savings, there's an opportunity waiting for you. But these offers are available in select communities and only for a short time. Visit lombardohomes.com or stop by a sales office today.
Still here, still trusted. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Great to be with you on Sports Open Line on a Friday night. Kevin Wheeler here. My old spot, man. This used to be my old chair. I mean, now I'm the old guy in the old chair, filling in for Matt Pauley. Matt has taken the night off. He'll be back on normal business hours on Monday. And also, since I'm kind of back in pinch hitting, it's really cool to get a chance to talk to Joe Sheehan. Obviously, the Joe Sheehan baseball newsletter is phenomenal. You can find him on his website, joesheehan.com. You'll find him on Blue Sky as well. And it's been a long time, Joe. You know, when I was doing sports full time, we talk frequently and, several times a year. And it's good to get a chance to catch up again. How you been?
Good, man. Good to connect again. How you doing?
Pretty good. And, obviously, being a baseball dork, I'm enjoying everything here in the first week of the season. The great young class of rookie hitters and another one showing up today in Connor Griffin, ABS, some fun stuff and some down stuff with the Cards. And I'm sure you're kind of doing the same thing. Let's start with today's news and Connor Griffin and talk a little bit about these rookies because he's kind of the latest. I know you wrote about him today for subscribers. He is such a fun, fantastic talent, but he's not alone, man. This is a great class of young hitters, including J.J. Weatherholt with the Cardinals.
Yeah, Weatherholt, of course, with a big hit over the weekend to driving the game-winning run. We've had Kevin McGonigal in Detroit off to a great start.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Connor Griffin joining us today. And it just goes to kind of what the trends are in Major League Baseball right now, which is to go to the younger player. And so we're seeing some of these guys sign the big contract so you can lock this guy up for a long time. And, the game gets younger and younger. The average age of hitters last year was under 28, which has not happened at Los Angeles 77 expansion. So you've got the game skewing younger. Teams are more comfortable putting these players into the lineup early because, remember, it's not like when, we were, well, I don't want to put this on you, Kevin. It's not like when I was a kid. Where you play Little League and you play scholastic ball, and then you get drafted and you weren't really the polished product. Because of the way young players are developed today, when they hit professional ball, they're much more developed than they were, 30, 40 years ago. So it doesn't take that long. Connor Griffin was the 9th pick in the 2024 draft, didn't play in the pros that year. His 1 year professional experience, he has something like 20 games above A-ball.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how confident the Pirates are in the skill set we saw today. He started his career with a double. So I'm a little less sold. He's 19 years old. He'll be 20 in a couple of weeks. That's incredibly young. The first teenage hitter in baseball since Juan Soto back in 18. There's some questions long-term about whether he's going to stay at short. And in the short term, I think you got to look and say, is he developed enough to play? But if you're the Pirates, he's better than Jared Triolo.
Yes.
He's better than Nick Gonzalez. He's the best option you have right now. And, the Pirates now, you've got Paul Steen, you've got Connor Griffin. It's probably the best moment to be a Pirate since Barry Bonds couldn't throw out Sid Bream at the plate.
Yeah, they got a nice young core there, and hopefully they'll try to keep adding around. I know they had an offseason that was more active than usual, but that's still maybe not as active as they will need to be here in the next couple of years if they want to get something done in terms of winning while Paul Skeens is still wearing that uniform. And obviously Griffin will be wearing it for a long time. Just a quick question on this. I mean, by the way, you're so right about the polish and preparedness of young players. In addition to doing radio, Joe, I'm a coach in the teenage world. I coach 14-year-olds. I coach high school guys in a program where we've been using Rapsodo for a decade, and we've got hit tracks, and we got all these same ideas. These guys are coming into the big leagues, having grown up on this stuff, having received advanced instruction, having played in perfect game tournaments and Team USA baseball, and J.J. Weatherholt's case, all of those things, plus, Big 12 baseball and Cape Cod League. They're just coming in with so much more work and experience than they did 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah, we were just happy if the coach showed up for the game. So it's definitely a different environment. And, it goes to, you think about the changes in the game of the last 15, 20 years. When I was first coming out with Prospectus, we didn't have those tools. And it was enough just to try to get guys, hey, you got to take more pitches. You got to be selective.
Right.
And now it's to the level of we have players who are native, as you mentioned, your kids coming up with the Rapsodos and the TrackMan. They're going to be not just sabermetrically native to use that term, but they're going to be technologically native.
Yes.
You expect this now when you come to the pros. And that's why, we've heard about organizations a little bit behind the times and having that, and guys coming up and saying, well, where are these tools that I had, with my travel ball team? Where are these tools that I actually had in college?
Right.
So there's this arms race now. And all of these tools just make the players better. And, individually, the skills are better than they've ever been. I think we can have a discussion about whether it's led to a more watchable game, but at the individual level, the players are better than they've ever been before.
Absolutely. And teams obviously seeing that there's a benefit to getting the most out of the youngest years are giving these contracts out now. And it's really trendy. I know, Joe, that some of the motivation in the moment is the upcoming, CBA talks in the offseason and the lockout and not knowing what the system will look like. And I think anything that happens now will be grandfathered in. So that probably plays into some of the urgency that we're seeing with Colt Emerson getting a deal in Seattle and Connor Griffin. There's talks about the Cardinals maybe doing that with J.J. Weatherholt. McGonigal's having those same talks with Detroit. If you look at Connor Griffin and getting, again, these are just rough numbers, not counting escalators and options, but 9 and 140, and you see Colt Emerson at 8 and 94, 95 million. Where do you slide J.J. Weatherholt in with that? Do you slide him in with the Colt Emerson camp, maybe between those guys? So if you're going to do something with him, is it a little different because he's older than those guys, or is it about the same?
Not just older, but also he projects now because of the presence of Mason Wynn as a second baseman.
Right.
Which means he won't have that same kind of overall value to a team that a McGonigal or a Connor Griffin, who at least in the near term project as shortstop. So I think you've got to project him forward as a second baseman, a little bit older. Maybe not the power projection too that those two guys have. So, could I lock him up? I mean, we're talking 9-130, which is don't make me do math on the air. $14 million a year,
yeah.
14 and change a year. Obviously, that's the AAV number. There's an upgrade. But, yeah, I would think coming in something short of that, 8 and 110, 8 and 100, something like that.
Okay. That's
where you start. And obviously, you mentioned that the rules are going to change possibly. I'm not sure if they will now, but you got to remember, these deals will actually across multiple CBA cycles.
Good point.
If you sign a contract today, an 8-year deal now, it's going to take you out to, and again, don't make me do math on the air, 33 or 34. I mean, that's 2 CBA cycles away. I don't know what the rules are going to look like then.
No, that's a great point. And for the player's perspective, a guy like Connor Griffin being 19, even if it's 9 years, he gets to be a free agent at 28. Like that's still primo big money, like maybe $700 million if you're a rock star. Where Weatherholt, at 22 going on 23, I don't know if I want to sign an 8 or 9 year deal if I'm him. I might want to go more like 6 or 7.
It's a different decision tree when we think about how aging curves have changed. It used to be, okay, you're going to peak at 27, you're still going to be good into your 30s. And now we're seeing, that 31, 32 has become a real problem for guys. Now, if you're a J.J. Weatherholt and you expect to be an up-the-middle contributor, a plus defender, somebody whose legs are going to be part of his game, you expect him to age better. But still, you're talking about that 31, 32 cliff. Maybe you say, hey, look, but if you're the team, of course, you want to get multiple of those free agent years. So that the math there is definitely a little bit different than it would be for a Connor Griffin or a Colt Everson. That, Weatherholt being getting a college draftee out of, I'm going to blank here.
West Virginia,
the math. Thank you, West Virginia. And, the math for college draftees on these contracts is much different.
Good point. Joe Sheehan is with us. You can find him on Blue Sky, but obviously you can also just go to joesheehan.com. He publishes the Joe Sheehan Baseball newsletter. It's phenomenal. You've been doing – how long has this now been, Joe? You've been doing this for – is it almost 20 years now?
Well, I was with Prospectus from 95, and the newsletter started in 2010. It's funny. I say I have 2 teenagers. My daughter turned 16 on Wednesday, and the newsletter turned 16 in the middle of May.
Cool. There you go. So 16 years on the newsletter. Obviously, you and I we're probably about the same age, Joe, because I came into the business in the early 90s too. So it's kind of like around that same time when Baseball Prospectus was starting to get going, and you guys have obviously grown, and you had a big part in putting that on the map. I also wanted to get to this other topic. You did a free piece today. So anybody that wants to read a piece for free, go to joesheehan.com about the ABS system. Found it to be fascinating. And I find this whole system to be fascinating for a lot of reasons. I mean, I want bad calls to be corrected. I kind of like a little controversy here and there. It gives us a little bit of fun with it. And I also like that it adds some strategy and some thought process. And watching every team sort through it has been really fun this week.
Yeah, I'm more of a let's just go to the full system, because I don't think gamifying the officiating really works for me. Like, I shouldn't be up there thinking, well, do I have to save this challenge for the 8th inning when a better hitter is up or when there's 2 runners on base? I'd rather just see the full system. But you talk about the interest. I think fans have been very interested in this. We've certainly had this whole new trove of data. You go to MLB Baseball Savant, and of course it's challenges by player, challenges by catcher, challenges by pitcher. There are other sites that are actually tracking it by umpire. So you can see that this guy's had 13 challenges in 2 games, and 9 of them have been overturned.
Right.
So I think it's going to be for the stat nerds like us, it's going to be really interesting to see how those numbers shake out. I'm curious in a couple of things. One is, what about the pitches that aren't challenged? I think that's like this gray area. Like,
Yep.
I see it every day. It seems like the hitters aren't challenging enough. Like, what value is being lost when you take that pitch outside the zone and you just can't quite pull the trigger on a challenge? The other thing I look at the big picture, like when you have now a system where umpires can't just willy-nilly call pitches 2 inches, 3 inches off the plate strikes, I think that's going to make for a better game. But so much frustration over the last few years. These pitches that have so many skills, they're so good, also didn't have to throw strikes a lot of the time. We've taken that pitch. You think about the end of the World Baseball, not the end of the World Baseball Classic, the end of the Dominican DRUS game.
Yeah.
With the pitch, that pitch gets challenged, and Gerardo Perdomo goes to first base and keep playing. Eric Gregg, back in '97, with them calling the pitch 3 inches outside a strike, sent the Marlins to the World Series. All of these really unhittable pitches are now just going to be completely out of. It's not even that they're going to get challenged. I personally think they're not going to be thrown as much. Pitchers are just not going to be trying to get that pitch called a strike. And when they are thrown, umpires are not going to call it a strike anymore. I think we've really reduced the called zone in a way that's going to make for a more watchable game. It's going to make a more fair fight between the batters and the pitchers.
That's a great point, and I completely agree with your first point, too. I would rather just go all the way, and I understand they want to work out the kinks. Baseball's always going to, I shouldn't say always, but typically going to take the slower route to change. So I agree with you. I'd rather just do it all the way up front. That way we don't have to worry about, as you put it, gamifying the whole thing. But I love that last part that you hit on, because I think that's important, because there are only so many ways you can try to level the playing field, right? One thing about professional sports is trying to balance entertainment with the outcomes and balance offense versus defense. And I think the NFL has done it quite a bit. The NBA has, the NHL has, Major League Baseball has as well. The one thing that's been hard to balance is just the advantage that pitchers have had in developing velocity and nastier stuff. And there really hasn't been the same revolution on the offensive side, although there's some. And I do think that getting the pitchers to have to throw the ball in the zone more is a part of helping make up for that gap.
It's the biggest reason I'm in favor of ABS. Just force the pitchers to throw more strikes. Because if you were designing baseball today, you wouldn't put the pitcher 60 feet, 6 inches away from the hitter. No. And you probably wouldn't have home plate. The strike zone be 17 inches wide. So I think we've got to force pitchers to start choosing command and throwing strikes over velocity and spin. And, and this is going to take a long time, Kevin, but I'm also hopeful that if you force pitchers to make that choice, we might get to a place where they've got to also worry less about maxing out every pitch, and maybe it'll be a path to keeping them more healthy.
Yeah, I agree. Because it's hard. You can't legislate it, right? You can't say, well, it doesn't count if you throw it 100 miles an hour or it's an automatic, but you can't do that. And there's incentive because arm speed works, whether it's velo or it's spin on a breaking ball or, the deception on a changeup, arm speed works. The only way you can do it is to say, okay, you've got a smaller place to throw it in, and that gives the hitter a chance to cover more.
You've got to change the decision tree for pitchers, both on a given pitch and developmentally. And this is hopefully one way to do it, because if you do go to a fully automated system, maybe then you're not actually tied to home plate, the width of home plate for balls and strikes. Maybe we down the road, we say, you know what? You have to be a strike, the pitch has to be in this 15-inch wide zone as opposed to 17-inch wide zone. And maybe that's another way we get pitchers to value command and accuracy as opposed to just velo and spin.
Joe Sheehan with us, the Joe Sheehan Baseball Newsletter. You just find him at joesheehan.com. Last thing, Joe, you can keep it quick if you'd like. But I know you did your preseason rankings of teams, and the Cardinals are in a rebuild. Any impressions on them, not from this week, but just for this season, maybe things you're curious about, interested in, as they do something they really haven't done and probably should have done sooner by going through a rebuild?
Yeah, early season results, I think it's like a 39-27 strikeout to walk ratio at this point. That's going to be a problem. That's 85 Cardinals numbers, and that's going to be an issue for them all year. They're strong defensively up the middle with Wynn, Weatherholt, and Scott. They're pretty poor defensively on the corners. We've seen that kind of get exploited. I don't think it's a 100-loss team. I think I said 72-90 or 79-2, somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a little bit of upside from there if the offense turns up. We'll see if Newpark can get healthy. And I've been wrong on Lars Newpark since the mid-70s, so maybe this will be the year. I'm probably right.
Yeah, but when that guy's healthy, he can hit. It's just a matter of kind of getting them there, and he's still going to be a little ways off, probably looking at late May, early June, based on the 60-day injured list designation. Joe, it's great to catch up, buddy. Always appreciate your work and your time here. Thanks so much for doing this. Keep enjoying the ball, and we'll look forward to catching up again down the road.
Take care, Kevin.
You got it. That's Joe Sheehan. Again, he has the Joe Sheehan Baseball Newsletter. If you want to subscribe, if you want to catch a freebie right now, the freebie is on the ABS system. His thoughts on the first week of that. It's just joesheehan.com. And then obviously, if you choose to sign up, feel free to do it. Joe does great work. He does a really good job, a lot of detail. And like our buddy Bernie Miklasz, who is also a fan of Joe Sheehan, he is prolific. He writes a lot, just like Bernie does. All right, real quick, we're going to take a break. We come back. We got more on the Cardinals. I want to talk a little bit about what we saw from a pitching perspective today. Why did the Cardinals go to Justin Brule in the middle of the game instead of letting McGreevy try to get out of that fifth inning and all of that stuff? Why you do it, why you set it up the way they did, and why didn't it work? We'll get to that next on KMOX.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it Fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
Last year, we had 295 trials where we'd been offered a total of $90 million on all those cases. When the dust settled, we had recovered over $1.1 billion in verdicts and mid-trial settlements. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won a lot, $30 billion and counting. The best part of all those wins is that it helps you when you hire us. All those wins allow us to let the insurance company know we mean business. And believe me, they know who we are. If you've been injured, Google Morgan & Morgan results. You're not bragging if it's a fact. 3 million people tried to hire us last year alone. That happened for a reason. Visit forthepeople.com and let's get started this minute. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
No one likes having to choose. That's why with America's best lineup of hybrids from Hyundai, you get the best of both worlds. Like the reliable and efficient Tucson Hybrid with America's best warranty. Or the stylish yet capable Santa Fe Hybrid with power to navigate the toughest terrain. It's like having your cake and eating it too. You know, if you could drive a cake. Hybrids from Hyundai. It's the best of both worlds. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Looking to build your dream home? Lombardo Homes is known for quality, luxury, and thoughtful design in some of the area's most desirable communities. And for a limited time this April, we're offering something we rarely do. Exclusive incentives designed to help you get more from your new home. From a free finished recreation room to premium kitchen and cabinet upgrades to flexible perks like design credits or closing cost savings, there's an opportunity waiting for you. But these offers are available in select communities and only for a short time. Visit LombardoHomes.com or stop by a sales office today.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
All right, you're back in on Sports Open Line. We're going to get to the Cardinals again in just a second, but we got word from Michael Calhoun in the KMOX newsroom that we have some breaking news.
That's right, Kevin. We are following reports of a shooting and a massive police response in the Soulard area. Several officer in need of aid calls at 7th and Russell. We can confirm that no officers have been injured in this, but there was a shooting. The street is closed. We're getting phone calls in the newsroom with people asking about what has happened here. Large number of officers in the area. 7th and Russell in Soulard. We'll have more coming up at the top of the hour.
Michael, thank you for the update. And obviously, anytime something breaks, guys, you're going to get it here on KMOX. So whether we're in mid-interview, mid-segment, if there's news on that incident down in Soulard, we will definitely bring it to you. I know Michael's all over it in the newsroom. I think Sean Malone's out there as well. So we've got it covered. And if there's any update on that, you will hear it here on KMOX with the next update coming up at the top of the hour. All right, real quick on today's game. And again, feel free to chime in, by the way, on the stream. We're going to open up the phone lines in the 7 o'clock hour and maybe the whole hour. That's up to you, man. If you guys have thoughts, if you have questions, if you have opinions, you have things you want to say, I'm going to leave the phone lines open the entire hour in the 7 o'clock hour, partly because I haven't had a chance to take calls in a long time, and I kind of like doing it. And also because it's early in the year and it's fun to kind of kick things around like this. So from today's game, Cardinals lost 4-0. And really the critical moment in this game, the critical inning was the 5th inning. And it was getting late in the 5th inning. Michael McGreevy didn't have a high pitch count. He only ended up throwing 75 pitches today after throwing, I think, 95, 96 in the 6 no-hit innings in his first outing. And it wasn't seemingly a really big problem. Like he was 1 out away from being able to get out of that inning. But Ollie Marmol went to Justin Brule there. And that didn't work. So there's always an interesting dynamic here between a decision being smart and a decision working. And this is something that Tony La Russa used to joke about. Like he'd say, it's only a good decision if it works. and he's just talking about the practical reaction to a decision, right? Any decision, even if it's done with poor information and poor logic, if it works, it's going to be called a good decision. And any decision that doesn't work, even if it's got all the logic and all of the information behind it, is still going to look like a bad decision. And that's what happened today. And I'll tell you why I think it was why it ended up not working. Okay. I don't think it's the wrong idea. So you had men on base in scoring position. You had a 1-0 deficit. You were trying to keep the game from getting out of hand. And you had Kerry Carpenter, Riley Green, Dylan Dingler, and Zach McKinstry coming up. So 3 out of those 4 are left-handers. The first two guys, Carpenter and Green, are lefties. And Carpenter in particular has terrible splits against left-handed pitching. In fact, to the point where up until this year, he doesn't usually start against left-handed pitching. I think they're changing that a little bit this year, but we'll see. I have a feeling they're going to stick with that kind of a platoon system. So here you have the evidence that says if we want to get out of this inning and keep it close and maintain a shot to win, your best move is to go lefty right there. It didn't work. Well, why didn't it work? Well, it's because you don't have a good enough second lefty. I mean, that's what it is. Justin Brule gave it up, right? So he recorded 2 outs in the outing, but the first 2 batters he faced, the 2 lefties, Carpenter and Green, both got hits. That allowed the Tigers to extend the lead to 3-0, and then eventually they would extend it to 4-0 later on. I think it's the right move. The decision to go get the starter there, that's a normal 2026 Major League Baseball move. Old school, you probably let your starter go. But it's not the old school anymore. It's 2026. 95% of teams, unless you have a dude out there, if you've got, I don't know, Paul Skeens, you're probably going to let him ride it. But as good as McGreevy has been, he's not Paul Skeens. The right move, the smart move, is to play the matchup there. You have 2 lefties. You don't want to go to Romero early and when you're behind, because you want him to be the guy that can protect leads for you and work in the later innings. So this is a spot where the player just needs to be better and do the job. This is not I'm not picking on Justin Brule. It's just an observation, right? He's a guy in his late 20s that hasn't had a lot of consistent major league success. The Cardinals are trying to find a way to get that out of him because they need another lefty, and those quality lefties are hard to get, and they're expensive if they're proven. So they're trying to see if they can work with him to make him that solid second lefty. This is what rebuilding years are. And the player wasn't good enough today to do it. But I do think it's the right move if you're running a team in 2026. Teams have 8-man bullpens. You have an 8-man bullpen for this reason, so that you can go get help early in the game and try to keep the game where it is. Unfortunately, the player in this case didn't get the job done. But the bigger point, really, of the day today, right, is that you didn't score. And the guys that were regulars didn't do very much. You know, you didn't have a single extra base hit. You only had 8 base runners in 9 innings. So we can talk about pitching moves and whether they matter or not. In this case, I don't think it ended up changing the outcome of the game, but it did change the feel of the game. It did put it further out of reach. But it's still the way that the game is managed now and the way that it should be managed now. You either need a better player there to make it work, or that player needs to be better in the future. All right, more baseball stuff. We're going to talk a bit about Ivan Herrera later on, the Mason win. In fact, we'll do a quick update on what we know about Mason win when we come back on Sports Open Line.
Game day comfort steps up to the plate Saturday, April 11th, when the Cardinals face the Boston Red Sox downtown. That night, fans can score a Cardinals dugout hoodie presented by Mercy, built for cool nights, late innings, and early season baseball. It's a classic, easy-to-wear layer you'll reach for all year long. Available in medium or extra large while supplies last. Don't miss this spring matchup. Get tickets and details at cardinals.com/promotions.
Every Sunday home game is a Kids Sunday at Busch Stadium. From Team Redbird and games to a kid-friendly DJ, ice cream, and family favorite activities, Sundays are built for young fans. Plus, select Sundays feature kids run the bases after the game. It's a day made for smiles, memories, and Cardinals baseball together. Make Sundays your family tradition at Busch Stadium. Tickets and details at cardinals.com/KidsSunday.
Calling all runners. Register now for the Cardinals 5K on Saturday, April 18th, and you can take a victory lap on the field at Busch Stadium. Don't miss this chance to bring the whole family for a fun St. Louis 5K race that brings fans together to support kids in the community. The Cardinals 5K, Saturday, April 18th. Register now at cardinals.com/5K. And for more information, just head to KMOX.com/events. If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Spring cleaning rule number 1, out with the old, in with the new. And frankly, your family's old internet connection is a dinosaur. Upgrade to the 1 gig modern family standard from i3 Broadband. It's 100% true in-home fiber with equal upload and download speeds, so your teenager's gaming won't crash your video call. Even better, we're currently offering our longest price guarantees ever on our gig speed internet services. Say goodbye to exploding promo prices and hello to budget certainty. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right.
If you need a garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of your choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
Do you ever feel like people are mumbling more than they used to? Or maybe conversations at restaurants and family gatherings have gotten harder to follow? If this sounds familiar, it might be time to learn more about your hearing. That's why we're inviting you to a special lunch and learn at the Audiology Center. This event is on April 29th for various time slots. It's a relaxed and friendly gathering where our certified audiologists will talk about hearing and hearing loss, answer your questions, and share how today's hearing aids can help you connect with the moments that matter most. Hearing loss often happens slowly, and many people don't realize how much they're missing. It's important to know how untreated hearing loss can negatively affect you in the long term. It's a no-pressure event, just good conversation and good information, and lunch is on us. Seats are limited, so please call 636-441-7470 to reserve your spot for our free lunch and learn at the Audiology Center on April 29th. Take the first step towards hearing more clearly.
Built on a century, focused on today. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
All right, just a reminder, next hour we're opening up the phone lines, 314-436-7900, and it's all baseball talk, all Cardinals You can keep on chiming in on the stream if you'd prefer that, because we'll just mix those comments with calls going into the next hour. I haven't taken calls in so long because we can't do it in Redbird rush hour. It's too crowded with news and traffic updates and all that stuff. It's just a little bit too tight on the clock, but man, that's what Sports Open Line's all about. So we'll open up the phone lines in this coming hour. You're welcome to go in any Cardinals direction that you want. Observations from the first week, thoughts about the bigger picture, JJ Weatherholt contract stuff, whatever. You name it. It can be on the stream in a comment, and we'll put it on the screen and talk about it, or you can just call 314-436-7900. On the Herrera thing, and I'm not going to go too crazy into this now. We can do more of it later. And Bernie and I talked about it during Redbird Rush Hour. But, Herrera, the last time he caught went pretty well. And I don't think that it was all terrible today. Okay, I want to be clear about that. It didn't seem to me that he had any negative impact on the performance of his pitchers. But we can't really know good or bad on that. We have to listen to the players or the manager, and they're not always going to tell us the full deal on those things. But to me, on appearances, it didn't look like there was any negative impact there, like game calling. There wasn't a lot of pitchers. It's not like McGreevy was always shaking him off or anything like that. And they didn't get blown up by any means, so it certainly wouldn't seem like that was a problem. But we saw the problem today with the throwing. And it was the first time that he's really been tested this year. In fact, I think those were the first 2 steals against him this year. If I were an opponent, and I'm not saying this to be mean, I love Ivan Herrera. I'm a huge fan. This guy is a great hitter, seems like a good dude. I admire his work ethic. I want it to work behind the plate. But what I want to see and what my eyes tell me are different. My eyes are telling me this isn't going to work. So today he made 2 throws on stolen bases. I know it's one day. I'm not making this decision based on today. It's based on last year. I'm not even making a decision. I'm not making this observation based just on today. It's based on last year and the year before and what I've seen from Ivan behind the plate. He just has a real arm strength problem. And he went to Driveline before 2025. This offseason, he wasn't able to do any of that big arm strengthening work because he had elbow surgery. So today his throws were both below 77 miles an hour with him coming out of the crouch. That would qualify if you looked at any catcher in baseball last year that made more than 20 throws down to second. He would rank at the bottom of Major League Baseball with that velocity. Kyle Higashioka was the worst last year of that many throws, and it was like 76 miles an hour. That's not going to work, and it's certainly not going to work when you're also really inaccurate. Both throws bounced today. One of them was 3 feet off the bag to the shortstop side. The key to being a catcher is putting the ball on the bag, and I just don't see it. We'll talk more about that and take your calls coming up after the news on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Lenseek.
Research firm Omdia reports that the global semiconductor market topped $830 billion in sales in 2025, the second straight year of 20% growth thanks to AI-driven demand for memory chips and storage. NVIDIA led all companies with $150 billion in revenue, up 54% from a year earlier, followed by South Korean firms Samsung and SK Hynix. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had life insurance. Ethos made it so easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. 100% online, no medical exam. Life insurance didn't take away the loss, but it did give us the space to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. Ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hey guys, this is Kevin Wheeler, and of course, the FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of KMOX and has been since the start of the year. Well, my history with FanDuel Sportsbook goes back way beyond that. I used to have to travel to use it, but now I get to do it in the comfort of my own home, which is great. And things are really heating up right now. They're heating up in the tournament, and FanDuel is giving all customers a profit boost every single game day leading up to the championship game. So you can build a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. You can try live betting and jump in after a game tips off. picked up a win like that in the Sweet 16. Best of all with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. So all you have to do to get started is go to FanDuel.com/Missouri. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri to claim your first profit boost and keep the action going from now until the championship game. FanDuel is where you get to play your game. Just remember, you have to be 21 or older and present in Missouri. Opt-in is required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. You can see all the terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Hear me out on this. Let's say, for the sake of argument, you do have a wife or a significant other.
Yeah.
There's just a huge problem in your life. And then you win the giant jackpot. Mm-hmm. Don't you feel like this is your opportunity to just leave town?
You're not going to file papers now, because now you're going to be legally bound to this lady.
That's what you get the lawyer for.
You're not even married and you're fantasizing about leaving your wife.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX. Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. A U.S. fighter jet is shot down by Iran as the war escalates. One crew member has been rescued and a second is missing. CBS's Charlie D'Agata.
This is a first since the conflict began. The very latest we're getting out of U.S. officials tonight is that search and rescue is ongoing for that second crew member of the F-15, somewhere deep behind enemy lines in a remote region of Iran. And the downing of that second rescue aircraft due to enemy fire, even though the pilot was safely out of Iranian airspace before ejecting, just speaks to how dangerous this rescue mission is.
CBS News national security analyst Aaron McLean.
They've got a GPS tracker, they've got a beacon, and they've got an encrypted radio. In an ideal situation, they're able to speak on that radio and communicate the details of their circumstances to help coordinate their rescue.
The Pentagon says 365 American service members have been injured as part of U.S. operations against Iran, and the number of deaths stands at 13. The State Department is imposing a dress code for diplomats. CBS's Cammie McCormick with that.
The State Department is requiring its staff to wear business formal attire. A spokesman says no more casual. Dylan Johnson posted that representing the U.S. is an honor, and this policy ensures diplomats project credibility, respect, and the dignity of the nation they serve.
A study finds even occasional heavy drinking takes a toll on the liver. CBS's Michael George.
People who occasionally drink heavily, even if it's only once a month, have a much higher risk of liver disease. A USC study found that occasional heavy drinking triples the likelihood someone will develop liver fibrosis, which affects 1 in 3 adults in the U.S. Heavy drinking is described as having 5 drinks in one day for men or 4 drinks in one day for women.
Amazon is adding a new fee that could impact prices. CBS's Stacey Lynn reports.
The company says it will begin charging third-party sellers a 3.5% fuel surcharge, citing rising energy and shipping costs. Amazon says until now, it's been absorbing those higher prices, but will now tack it on for sellers. They may in turn pass that increase on to you, the customer.
The fee takes effect on April 17th for sellers in the U.S. and Canada. Descendants of Choctaw Code Talkers this week gathered in Fort Worth, Texas. The Code Talkers were 19 Native American soldiers who used their language to transmit encrypted messages during World War I, volunteering before Native Americans were recognized as citizens. Their contributions have been recognized with a historical marker at Fort Worth's Veterans Memorial Park. This is CBS News.
The stars shine brighter on CBS Mornings.
This is a slam dunk.
So cute.
Gail came in singing for me today.
On CBS Mornings.
At 7:03, it's a mostly cloudy sky. Right now, we've got 78 degrees downtown at the Arch.
KMOX is covering breaking news.
There was a large police presence after a shooting near a high-profile entrance to the Soulard neighborhood. Let's take you live to the scene now. KMOX's Ivy Lyons. Ivy?
Hi, Mike. Thank you so much. So we are on Russell and 7th, where it looks like there continues to be an investigation into a shooting. The shooting appears to have started over at the Phillips 66 and moved down one block. If you are driving in the area, of course, you will notice a heavy police presence keeping you, from getting toward and into Soulard. There are a few other moments of diversion, some bigger trucks and semis having to pull off into other areas. So this is a heavily trafficked circumstance. We are also learning more about how many people may have been injured in this particular shooting. Right now, we know of at least one person that has been shot. We have additional information that leads us to believe that 2 people have been shot. We're looking for more information right now, not yet confirming if there's any sort of additional investigation ongoing. Michael.
Thank you, Ivy Lyons, on the scene in Soulard. We'll have more as it becomes available. Some of the bump outs in downtown St. Louis are going away.
You probably saw just a couple weeks ago when there were several downtown events all at once, there were massive choke points.
Mayor Kara Spencer says some of the bump outs were causing hours-long traffic jams after big events downtown and are being removed. Spencer's calling for more coordination when balancing pedestrian safety with traffic.
We will continue to work with our downtown partners to make sure, and our community partners when we're making those major investments, that they make sense.
Spencer says the bump outs predate her administration, but she owns fixing them. A huge event is coming to St. Louis this month, and they need your help.
The VEX Robotics World Championship is coming to America Center April 21st through the 30th, and thousands of volunteers are needed. The Robotics Education and Competition Foundation is a partner in the event that welcomes competitors from all 50 states and 60 countries.
Their success wouldn't be possible without the help of volunteers stepping into these roles.
There are opportunities for young people as well as adults. No robotics or STEM experience is necessary. Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
That forecast for overnight tonight, still windy. Showers are possible with a low of 55. For tomorrow, we'll start off with 60 and some morning showers. The sky will clear and we'll dip the temperature into the 50s. For tomorrow night, the low in the 40s. And for Easter Sunday, sunshine, breezy, cool, high 58. Right now, it's cloudy and 77 degrees downtown at the Arch. Want to remind you of the breaking news that we're covering. 2 people shot near 7th and Russell in the Soulard area. Series of officer in need of aid calls posting around 6 p.m. Heavy police presence still in that area. There is a traffic impact if you're in the car. We'll have the latest for you as it becomes available. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
You guys, that's 7 o'clock hour on Sports Open Line. And as I said earlier, we're going to proceed with opening up the phone line. So they are now open if you want to talk Cardinals baseball. I haven't had a chance to take calls for a long time. I'm kind of excited about it. So if you guys are out there tuning in, whether you're checking us out on the stream, you can comment there if you'd like. If you just rather go into the comments on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and go that route, you're welcome to do it. We're going to be, I just kind of want it to be a feedback hour. I have a bunch of things that I want to get to eventually, but we'll get to those when the time is right. But 314-436-7900 is the number. There are really no restrictions on it as long as it's Cardinals related, right? It can be bigger picture if you want to moving forward from this point. You can have it based on what you've seen so far. If there's a specific player you want to talk about, a specific decision, you didn't like the lineup, really, it's okay. We're going to go in a lot of different directions. So you feel free to go where you want as long as it's Cardinals related. You want to talk about J.J. Weatherholt and whether or not the team should be looking to lock him up to a long-term deal like a lot of other teams are doing with their young stars. And again, keeping in mind that it takes 2 to tango. It's not about, dictating it to the player. It's about the player and his agent being interested in that kind of conversation. So again, feel free to go any direction you want. We've started off a little bit earlier today talking a bit about Ivan Herrera. I got a message on the stream right now. And by the way, again, the number 314-436-7900. I got a message on the stream from Fly Navy 73. Thanks for jumping in. We appreciate you. I was talking about Ivan Herrera before the top of the hour and his struggles on throws and that being very evident today. And Fly Navy 73 says, as far as Herrera goes, I've maintained since early last year, he'll never be a catcher. Why does management feel different? Boggles my mind. Well, that's a good question. I agree with you on the first part. I am not a professional. Like, I'm not a major league scout. I'm not a major league coach. I never have been. I've coached catchers for a long time, and I don't think I would compare. I would not compare my evaluation skills to the full-time catching evaluators that the Cardinals have. Okay, they're farther advanced than me, but they also have the difference between them. The difference between them and me is that the major league staff and the front office wants to see if this is going to work. So the first part, Fly Navy, I agree with you. I'm going to leave that on the screen for a second. The second part, the why do they feel differently? I don't know if they actually feel differently or they just are giving it a chance to be different. There is and Ollie Marmol has explained this really well. He was talking about this on the Gas House Gang not long ago. He really did it. He really explains this well, that it's in an ideal world, the player is a more valuable player if he can go back behind the plate even once or twice a week. Gives you some flexibility. It allows you to play for some more offense if your offense is struggling, or maybe it's a good matchup. And, as an example, you got a pitcher that's not going to allow a lot of traffic. Maybe the stolen bases aren't that big of a deal. Maybe you got a pitcher that does a good job of holding runners, and McGreevy's kind of known for that. So maybe that's why he's been catching McGreevy. That I think it's more of that they want it to work than they believe it will. And I'm not saying they doubt it. They might just be saying, look, this is the year to find out. And I do agree with that. I'm not trying to say they should bag giving him some opportunities back there as long as they are somewhat limited opportunities. But what I would say beyond that is that doesn't mean we have to think it's going to work. So their logic is good. Their desire is a good thing. They want to see if moving forward, that can be an option. I don't think there's any thought to making him a full-time catcher, right? He's just not good enough defensively. It's probably too much wear and tear for a guy that you want to be your best hitter. So you don't want to have a guy that's pigeonholed as a DH when he's 25, 26 years old. I agree with that. I think he's probably going to end up having to learn some first base. When you throw with the velocity that he does in the mid-70s, that's typically not going to play anywhere but first base. Maybe second, but he's not going to play second base. That's going to be J.J. Weatherhold's spot. So again, I understand it. That's their logic. They want it to work. They think it can be adequate in small samples. And that may be right, and I hope they're right about it. I don't see it because if I'm running a team against them, against the Cardinals, when Herrera's catching, we're running. Everybody's running. Because I don't think he gets rid of the ball fast enough. I don't think he throws it hard enough, and I don't think he throws it accurately. And that combination's rough. But I do get it. If you're going to try to make it work, this is the year to do it. And if it doesn't work in a month, great. Maybe that's when we see Jimmy Crooks. Because Jimmy's off to a good start at Memphis. He can really throw. He's got a great reputation. He's always put up good numbers in the minor leagues as a hitter. So that time may be coming. And in this year, we can be patient, even though it doesn't change my evaluation. I still don't think it's going to work. But it's okay to try now because of where the team is. All right, feel free to jump in. Let's jump to the phone lines. We got more questions coming in on the stream. Feel free to ask questions, offer opinions. It doesn't matter. It's not about question and answer. Just give us whatever feedback you want to talk about. And, of course, you can call 314-436-7900. Let's go to Jerry first up and see what he's talking about. Jerry, thanks for calling, buddy. How you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm calling because I'm a little concerned with the Cardinals offense. We've seen this all coming. But, we started out good, but you kind of see it. I'm a little surprised that Vasquez wasn't brought up, but I see some problems offensively with this team. And also, real quickly, I'd like to thank Dan Caesar for talking about the Blues broadcast and the job Chris Kerber does and the chit-chat he does for minutes while the game's going on. I have complained about this for years. The Blues office has completely ignored me, and I'm hoping they're listening to him. And what I really like today is when he showed about 20 or 30 people who are complaining about this. It is bad. Chris Kerber reminds me of a guy that goes to a game and watches about half the game and then talks the other half and doesn't even. I mean, when you're doing a game of
all right, so Jerry, you got to stop. First of all, don't hijack the show. It's a baseball show. We're talking baseball tonight. Okay, that's number one. Number two, do not dog my buddy Curbs. He does a phenomenal job. He's the voice of the St. Louis Blues, and he's great at it. But most importantly, guys, and I appreciate the call, Jerry, and I'll get to your offensive point here in a second because I think it's a good question. But don't go off the rails, guys. Just the fact that your call has been taken doesn't mean you get to change the subject. It's not how it works. This is not to disrespect the Blues either, but right now we're the home of the Cardinals. There was a Cardinals game today. We're talking baseball, and that's all I want to. I'm not trying to be a jerk, although I know I was a little bit there, and I'm not going to apologize for it because for two reasons: don't hijack the show and change it, and don't bag on my buddy Curbs. He is phenomenal. Curbs is one of the best play-by-play men in the NHL. I love Chris Kerber. Do not dog my guy. 314-436-7900 is the number if you want to jump in. There's your reminder. Don't hijack the show and try to change it up. We're talking baseball here on the show tonight. And to your question, though, Jerry, to be fair to you, your point about the offense is a fair one. The offense isn't we did, and Bernie and Matt and Ranji and Aki and all of us have talked about it this offseason. It's not a powerhouse lineup. It's going to take some time to sort out which of these guys are everyday players and regular players and which are not. We know Ivan Herrera is a good hitter. We know that Alec Burleson's a good hitter. I think J.J. Weatherholt's really going to hit. I don't think there's much doubt about it. You know, he's had a couple of games here where it's not gone great. I'm not worried about him. He's going to hit. Will he be his all-star self this year? I don't know. He's a rookie. You know, rookies can sometimes take off right away. Sometimes they take some time. But I have faith in him as a hitter moving forward. But we don't know if Victor Scott's going to hit consistently. He's been pretty good so far this year, but we don't know if he's going to hit. We don't know if Walker's going to hit. I think Gorman will hit home runs, but we don't know if he's going to be consistent. So, yeah, and we don't know what kind of hitter Mason Wynn ultimately is. He's very talented. And I think he's got offensive ability and upside, but we haven't seen it in his career at the major league level with any consistency. We did see it in the first half last year, but it waned in the second half. And what we don't know yet is whether that was because of the physical problems or if it was just, because he's still figuring out how to be a hitter. It's a fair point. The lineup is not super strong. And if it were, this wouldn't be a rebuild. If it were, they'd be a contender. Let's keep on going. 314-436-7900. Harrison is on the line. Thanks for calling, Harrison. How you doing tonight?
What's up, man? Doing good.
Appreciate you, man. What's on your mind?
Wanted to talk about the rebuild, actually. Dustin May, wanted to get you guys' thoughts.
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure he was brought in as kind of a guy, let's see how he does. He's coming off an injury. Let's see if we can flip him at the deadline. Kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that situation and whether we should be trying to do more of that potentially next offseason to try and flip guys, a little bit iffy for prospects.
Yeah, Harrison, I think that's it, man. I don't know that it's like ultimately I would say like a hard and fast plan. Maybe you fall in love with the player falls in love with the team, and there's an extension that you work on. But yeah, I think that's the point. You're taking a guy that's got high upside, who's still in his 20s, who's got a fastball that reaches the upper 90s, and it's a kind of like a block of clay that you're trying to mold into something that you either keep and he helps you with the rebuild in the future few years, and he maybe speeds up the rebuild, or like you said, he has a really good year and you're coming up on free agency and you're getting good offers at the deadline and you spin them. I think that it could go either way, but I think that the way you outlined it is probably the right one.
No, I appreciate it, man.
You got it, Harrison. Thanks for calling. And I would say the other point on Harrison, I would say he's 100% right that this is the kind of stuff that they need to be doing. These are the kinds of players you want to target when you're in this stage of a rebuild. It's not just, is this guy good? Is this guy a top of the rotation guy? Sometimes you're looking to buy a little low so that you can build value and trade higher. Or, again, build value and maybe you like the player and he likes you and you stick around. I mean, you don't know how that's going to go. All right, stick around, man. It's 7 o'clock hour on Sports Open Line on KMOX. Kevin Wheeler filling in for my buddy Matt Pauley. We got more calls and more messages from the stream coming your way on KMOX.
Here in St. Louis, we take pride in supporting our health and our community. That's why more and more families are turning to Neovitin multivitamins, created by a local physician and made right here in the U.S. using the highest quality domestic and international ingredients. With formulas for men, women, and adults 50 plus, Neovitin helps keep St. Louis families energized, supported, and ready for life. Find Neovitin at your local Deerbergs, Schnucks, and online at neovitin.com. Neovitin, trusted nutrition from St. Louis for St. Louis.
Opening day sounds just like home. From the bullpen to the bleachers, this is the place we run to every spring, where the love of the game calls us back. So button up your jersey, put on your game face, and make yourself at home. We're exactly where we're meant to be. Major League Baseball is back. Join us at a ballpark near you. Visit MLB.com/tickets today. Baseball is something else.
Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
Spring's around the corner, and savings are in full bloom at Menards. Get your backyard ready with garden tools that make every job easy. Define your landscape with durable edger blocks. Then top it off with colorful mulch that keeps weeds down and supports healthy plant growth. You'll also find a huge selection of grass seed and fertilizer to make your lawn the envy of the neighborhood. Gear up, green up, and save big at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Carpal tunnel syndrome. Heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
In St. Louis, the weather can change in an instant. One day, you're under a thunderstorm warning. The next,
oh boy, it's snowing.
Stay prepared for whatever Mother Nature throws your way. When weather threatens, the KMOX Storm Center has expert forecasts and live reports, here to keep you safe and informed. Don't get caught off guard. Know your weather. Sponsored by
Seliga Heating and Cooling.
One city, one voice. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
All right, talking Cardinals baseball on Sports Open Line. Kevin Wheeler pinch hitting for my buddy Matt Pauley tonight. You're welcome to join us on the phones. 314-436-7900. Remember earlier when I was saying, like, it can be all these things, anything you want, Cardinals related? That's really the only limitation. We're talking baseball on the home of the Cardinals. Just don't hijack that part. You'll be good to go. You can also just chime in on the stream if you'd like. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You can take whatever direction you want to go and throw it at me. It's all good. So if you want to talk ball on the phone line, it's open. 314-436-7900. Kyle and I were just talking about this during the break. It's the opening weekend for High A ball. So that's the Peoria Chiefs and the Cardinals organization. And their opening day starter is Tanner Franklin. You may remember Tanner Franklin from the draft last year. He was one of the Cardinals' top draft picks, third rounder, right? If I remember correctly.
Yep.
He's out of Tennessee like Liam Doyle. He is a big man who throws very hard, and he is off to a pretty good start in his pro career. He's making the opening day start today. 3 innings today so far, obviously still going, but 3 innings for Franklin at Peoria. 1 hit, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. No runs allowed. What we don't know, though, and this is what I was just mentioning to Kyle, like you're looking at that and going, wow, it was only 1 walk. Now it's 2. He literally just walked the second guy as we were talking. You don't know if what's happening is that he's actually throwing strikes or if he's just blowing hitters away and they're swinging at pitches they can't handle just because they don't know what to do with it. But apparently he's been touching 100 miles an hour, and that's what he's known for. He's a big right-hander with really high-end velocity. Now, what we don't know about him long-term is whether or not he's going to be a starter because he was a reliever at Tennessee. But he's 21, 6'5", 225, touches 100 with regularity, and he's out there making his debut for Peoria tonight. And again, he pitched in the minor leagues last year. This is not his minor league debut, but he only threw 6 innings total last year. So this is his 2026 debut, and so far he is now in the bottom of the 4th inning. 3 shutout innings with 7 strikeouts and only 3 base runners allowed. And then on the offensive side, how about this? Ty Peete came over from Seattle in the Brendan Donovan trade, and he's a very talented guy. I don't know if you saw any clips of him in spring training, but he's super athletic, got good speed, some arm strength. He's got power. He's one of those guys that needs to make more contact. He's had strikeout problems. But so far tonight, 1 for 3 with a home run. Pretty good start. And then our favorite guy, Rainiel Rodriguez. I don't think Rainiel Rodriguez is going to be in Peoria very long either. I think Tanner Franklin, barring some weird stuff, will probably move up pretty soon. Probably the first half of the year, maybe midseason. And it might be that way for Rainiel Rodriguez. So his first game in High A this year, because he did advance to that level last year. But he's 2 for 3 tonight with a home run. And he is, I think it's pretty fair to say, especially with Weatherholt now at the major league level, he's the best hitting prospect in the Cardinals organization. And that's even saying something because Joshua Baez is a pretty good hitting prospect. But if you remember Rodriguez, last year as a teenager, hit 20 home runs in 84 games in the minor leagues. And that's crazy. He's only 19 now, by the way. He turned 19 in January. So he won't turn 20 until after this season. He's already at Peoria and with a home run tonight in their season opener. They're up 8-1, by the way. Oh, no, Franklin gave up a run. We jinxed it by talking about it. Anyway, there's an update for you. I thought that was kind of fun. Let's get back to the phone lines, 314-436-7900. You can also jump in and get us a message on the stream if you'd like to do that as well. We got Kevin on the phone line next up. Thanks for calling, Kevin. What's up, man?
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm going to give you 3 quick comments. One is that I think Herrera is a hitter and not a catcher. I want his bat in the lineup 140 games a year, and let's quit trying to make him a catcher. Number 2, I actually like the right-handed lineup today because I feel pretty good about Sagasi and Fermin and Pozo being able to put the ball in play. And I like my chances with those guys because they make contact more than not. And Weatherholt and Gorman had a shot today off the bench. The third comment is that I really like the team as far as enjoying to watch them because today, even though they didn't score a run, I watched the game all the way to the 9th inning because they had a couple of shots, late in the game where they could have got right back in it, and I'm with them. So I'm going to support them all year. They're fun to watch.
Kevin, great call, man. Appreciate you. We'll go backwards. I agree, they're fun. And this is the thing we got to get through to some fans. I don't think it's a huge percentage, but a team can be fun even if they're not going to win 90 games. Like, there's more to being a baseball fan than attaching your enjoyment of the game to whether your team wins or loses. And the hard part is, look, I empathize with fans that expect winning because it's all we've seen. It's all we've seen for 25 years. So I get it. I know that changes expectations. But what I'm saying, and I'm offering advice, I'm not ordering, I'm not scolding, I'm offering advice. Learn to enjoy it even if they don't win. And this is probably a thing for I think fans that are on the younger side. Because if you're young as a Cardinals fan, you've known nothing but winning. So I understand completely why your mindset went that way. But right now it's time to find out how much you like the other things. And I agree with Kevin. This is a fun team, young players with personality, with energy, and they're not always going to hit. They're not always going to win, but they're going to work. And look, even today, you didn't have many offensive highlights. You had multiple defensive highlights. Not from your catcher, but from your right fielder anyway. And I thought before he went out of the game, Mason Wynn made a nice play. So yeah, I would agree with that. Moving backward to the middle part of that, it's an interesting thing to me where we are. Actually, the middle part is the part that I'm not remembering now. It was the Herrera part. I would agree with your statement on Herrera. I don't mind that they're doing it. I want to, Bernie and I talked about this earlier. We understand the plan, but understanding it and being okay with trying it is not the same thing as thinking it's going to work. So I'm okay with them trying it this year. I think as the year goes along, the playing time is going to have to include Jimmy Crooks at some point. I'm sure they're going to be a little slower with Bernal because this is his first year at the AAA level. Crooks was at AAA last year. He's okay with that level. He's blowing it away right now. He's dominating the level. Doesn't mean he's ready for the big leagues, but he does some things that the Cardinals catchers at the major league level don't do. He's a much better offensive player than Pages. He throws better than Pages, and that's saying something because Pages throws pretty well. And he's known, his reputation is as a guy that runs a good game. Doesn't mean it's the same as doing it at the major league level. Just saying I think he has the ability to be that. And, with a left-handed bat behind the plate, there's value there. And I would hope that down the road, the catching picture is more like Jimmy Crooks becomes the main guy and Pages is the backup, and we don't have to worry about it with Herrera anymore. But that's probably later in the year. And that's okay. Again, there's no rush. This is not about you're trying to go all out to win every game, even though I know that's what we want by nature. And Kevin, I'm sorry, I'm spacing out on the middle point that you do you remember it, Kyle?
Yeah, it was about the right-handed lineup.
Oh, yeah, today's lineup. Yeah, that was a really big buzz thing before the game. Like, what a crappy lineup. Look, the guys have to play, and while I think Fermin is clearly a bench player, that's fine. You still need him to be good when you need him. And if you're not getting any reps, then you're not going to be good. And if you're not going to get reps against lefties, who are you going to get reps against? I don't think it's as necessary to get Pozo in there. I don't want to be mean because I like his story. I like his personality. I like kind of the passion that he plays with. I just don't know that he's a full-on major league player. He puts the ball in play, as Kevin noted, but doesn't do much beyond that because he swings at too many pitches. He's kind of like Pages in that way. Pages has a little more power. But if Sajaci and Fermin and Pozo, if those guys aren't going to play when you're facing a lefty, well, then they're just not going to play. And you do need your bench guys to get some reps if they're going to help you at any point down the road. So that's it. And again, I get it. It's not a great looking lineup when Ramon Urias is batting cleanup. And it certainly doesn't help when he goes 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts in that role. But that'll sort itself out. It's going to be okay. But good call, Kevin. Appreciate you, man. Let's go to Leslie next up on the phone lines. What's going on tonight, Leslie? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. What's new?
Good. Well, Kevin kind of summed up everything for me. I'm almost head to head with him, but so then that gives me a chance to go off the grid a little bit. And I want to say this is all about you. So you are a very good announcer. You are not announcer, but you do a good talk.
Thank you.
And I love when I hear the DG show and Kevin. I mean, if you get one of those hearty laughs, I almost have to pull over sometimes if I'm driving.
Yeah, I got the Skipper from Gilligan's Island laugh going a little bit, don't I?
Yeah. But you're probably one of the most fairest persons that I know. And I love baseball because it's a St. Louis thing. I'm born, raised, bred, already got my burial plot set up in St. Louis.
All right.
So, so you helped me love the game. It was okay. My dad played when I was a kid.
Nice.
You helped me love the game, and you're not an evil person. You're not a prejudiced person. You're just an all around good guy, and I truly appreciate you. I know your family does, and your daughter, and all that stuff. So keep doing what you're doing, man. And here's the last thing. I want you to run for president.
Oh, no chance. You'll get that big laugh right now. No, I'm not qualified. I don't want it. No, thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you, Leslie. I appreciate it. Only half of what Leslie said is true. I have a big laugh. All the other stuff is a lie. No, I'm kidding. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's very nice. The president thing, never. Maybe president of I wouldn't even want to be the president of the HOA in my neighborhood. I don't want any of the nonsense. And I'm not qualified. Like, I think I really wish more people knew what they were and weren't qualified for in the world. It'd be a good thing. But Leslie, appreciate you and thank you. And I know only half of that is true. All right, we got more baseball coming your way in a second. Got to take a quick time out. If you want to get more calls in on the cards, anything you want to do with it, try to stick with it if you can. 314-436-7900. We'll check the stream and see what we got going on there as well. Got just about 25 more minutes on Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Who's been talking about St. Louis sports since 1985? Bernie Miklasz.
This is going to be a likable team. I don't know how many games they're going to win. You're down 7-1, and at that point, they weren't deflated. They weren't demoralized. They're like, all right, good for you guys. You hit us in the mouth. You drew blood. We just tasted our own blood. Now we're going to knock you on your ass. Let's go.
Bernie Miklasz. Hear what he has to say on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint by a lot, backed with our 25-year transferable warranty. Paint a house, shield a home. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, steel, aluminum, cedar, and more. We are the only coating company selected by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where all 3 episodes concentrate on unpainted brick. If you maintain or own a business with a tired-looking building, you owe it to yourself to look at Rhino Shield and our beautifully durable color schemes. Evaluations are free. We're making buildings pop and be noticed again, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks, exceeding expectations every day with our products, people, and performance. Now is the time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or go to 877-25rhino.com and see how honest and transparent we really are. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey, it's Debbie Monterey, and I think right now we all need something to look forward to, and a nice little getaway is going to do it for me. So I've been looking at this 5-day Arizona trip that I have planned in September, and to me, it sounds absolutely perfect, and I would love for you to join me. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to stay in Flagstaff because that means cooler temperatures. It's a great home base, and from there, we're going to visit Sedona, the Grand Canyon, and Lake Powell all in one trip. I'm talking about red rocks, big views, and that deep blue water at Lake Powell that looks like a postcard. I'm told September is one of the best times to go with fewer crowds, more comfortable weather, and everything's going to be planned out for us. We just show up. If this sounds like something you'd like to do, please join me because I have always wanted to go to the Grand Canyon. Travelwithdebbie.net. That's travelwithdebbie.net or call Cruise and Tour at 800-383-3131. Space is limited, so don't delay. 800-383-3131. Travelwithdebbie.net.
Get inside your Redbirds and the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
I'm back in on Sports Open Live. Kevin Wheeler pinching in for my buddy Matt Pauley. He'll be back next week, just taking the night off. And we'll be back to business as usual. Just a reminder, though, that next week, the Cardinals are in Washington, D.C. to take on the Nationals. So the games are earlier. Those are 5:45 Central Time starts on Monday and Tuesday. And then Wednesday is, I believe, a 3 o'clock. Is that what it is? It's a 3 o'clock start time. So, yeah, there are going to be some weird, no Sports Open Line kind of things. Although Wednesday maybe we'll have a Sports Open Line. At least a little bit of it following postgame. Just giving you a little programming note. Of course, the Cardinals set to take on the Tigers tomorrow afternoon in Detroit in Game 2 of that series. All right, real quick message off the stream, and then we'll get back to the phone lines. So Andrews, who was catching on the Ivan Herrera, didn't mean to do the pun there, who was chiming in on the Herrera talk, said, how about Burleson in left field and Herrera at first base? Is that an option? I don't know that it is now because I don't know that Herrera's gotten any work there. I wouldn't mind it, and I don't want it to be like full time. I think Burleson's doing a really nice job at first. It's probably best if he plays there the majority of the time. But here and there, down the road, I think that would be a pretty good idea. Where on the day you want to get, or maybe you don't have, who knows? If Church hits, he's going to play left field a lot. But if he doesn't, maybe that is a solution to get more offense later in the year. But it doesn't seem like that's going to be the plan because Herrera just hasn't had a lot of work there. I do think long-term, that's probably your best bet. And again, I hope the catching thing works. I just don't see it. Let's go to Mark on the phone lines next up. If you guys want to jump in, we got about 20 minutes left, 314-436-7900. Hi, Mark. What's up?
Hey, Kevin. How are you?
Good.
Hey, real quick, I was just interested in your opinion. I mean, I understand that this year is going to be a rebuild year. And, in fact, who knows what the what 2027 is going to look like with the labor disputes, right? So, I mean, if you had your crystal ball, I mean, what do you think the opening day lineup, or who would be our starting eight and who would be in the staff, with 2028 with all the prospects we have?
Oh, okay, so we're looking ahead 2 years. All right, don't hold me to it.
No, of course not.
It'll change. But, yeah, I think if I'm looking ahead to 2028, my bet's going to be that your catcher is Jimmy Crooks. But I want to hold out on Raniel Rodriguez, and whether we don't know yet if he's going to stay behind the plate or if they're going to move him out because his bat's so good. But I'm gonna get weird on you. Okay, I'm gonna get weird on you for 2028. I think Jimmy Crooks and Bernal will still be your catchers, and they'll probably be in a share. And a lot of teams are doing almost a 50-50 split these days. At first base, man, I think it might be a split between Herrera and Rodriguez. And the two of them, one of them DHing and one of them playing first base. This is not to write off Burley, but there may be a chance because by then he's going to be getting close to 30. Maybe that he's a trade piece. So again, I'm getting weird. It wouldn't shock me if Burleson's your first baseman, but I'm gonna put that out there into the universe for now. Weatherholt will be the second baseman, Wynn's the shortstop. I think it'll still be Gorman at third base because I don't really see a big third base candidate at the moment that will come take that. and he's still going to be under team control. And the outfield, this is the fun part. It's hard to figure. I'm going to bet that it's still Victor Scott in center. I think one of the outfield corners is going to be Joshua Baez by then. And then I think it's probably Walker. Probably. But we won't know that till the end of this year, really, to see how he does. But if I'm looking further down the road, I mean, they've got some other candidates. Ryan Mitchell's a guy who's only 19, but he can really hit, and he's a good athlete. I think he's going to be a possibility in the outfield as a left-handed bat before too long. Ty Pete's in that same group. He's a little older than Mitchell, so I'll probably put Ty Pete a little bit ahead of that. But he's a guy that's super athletic and has power. I wouldn't shock me if he's in that mix. A guy to keep an eye on that people have talked a lot about is Daniel Ortiz. He's 21, 6'1", 230, so he's a thick guy. And they list him at third. He's probably more of a first baseman, but he's got real power. And he only played, I think, 100 games last year, hit 13 home runs. But he's a guy that might be an interesting power guy to watch develop over the next couple of years. Pitching-wise, it's going to depend so much on injuries. But if I'm just off the top of my head, I'm going to guess McGreevy's still there. The tough part is Libby, because that's getting near the end of his contractual. I think 28 would be his last year under team control. So I'll say he's here. So Libby and McGreevy. I would bet by then Liam Doyle is in there. Drangelo Sanger is going to be in there. Probably Quinn Matthews. Now, so this is just playing the game, Mark. I just want to be clear. I'm sure it's not going to go that way. It never does. Teams are never fully homegrown lineups. They are now, the Cardinals are, but that's typically not the case when you're a contender. Things will probably change a lot in those couple of years. There'll be some trades. Guys will get hurt. Things along those lines. But if I'm ballparking it now with a guesstimate, that's what it would be. I think, yeah, appreciate you, Mark. Because I really think the best plan going forward for catcher is Bernal and Crooks. Because Bernal's a switch hitter. Crooks is a lefty. You can play them basically in a 50-50 split, which is what a lot of teams want to do. They both have enough bat maybe to squeeze in some DH. The big question in all of it is whether or not Raniel Rodriguez is going to stay behind the plate. And I don't know that that's an aptitude question at this point. The word is he's got a really strong arm. He can throw runners out, still needs work on blocking and framing, but he's 19. Of course he does. What 19-year-old, other than maybe Ivan Rodriguez and Yadier Molina when they were 19, which guys at that age don't need that? Of course they do. But he's got real power, so there may be an incentive to move him somewhere else. Honestly, maybe that's your third baseman down the road. With a strong arm, if he can move even a little bit, maybe that's an option. You got to find a way for that bat to be in there and Herrera too. But again, there's so much unforeseen here. Guys could get traded in big blockbuster deals we don't see coming, all of that. So that's just spitballing it, not actually making that prediction. All right, back to the phones. Don is up next. Thanks for calling in, Don. How you doing tonight?
Pretty good, Kevin. I listen to you quite often on KMOX, and you're a funny guy, and I enjoy listening to your conversations with Bernie Miklasz. Here's a couple questions I got for you, man. To me, I would not bat Mason Wynn as a cleanup, or I'd rather see Burleson in that cleanup spot. And like I said, for this team to go forward, I think they're going to have to go out and spend some money and get a couple superstars. What do you think, Kevin? I'll hang on the line and listen to your comments.
Okay, thanks, Don. Yeah, for that second part, I think eventually you're going to have to do that. I agree with you. That's why it's kind of weird to try to project the lineup in 2 years, because I do think they're eventually going to get to the point where they're going to spend some money. Some of it will be on locking up current players and keeping them. Some of it will be bringing in free agents. So I would agree that down the road, that's going to probably need to happen, whether it's in a free agency thing or a trade setup. It could be another Goldschmidt or Arenado trade. Hopefully not when they're as close to getting old, but that kind of idea. Or like when they traded for Matt Holliday, like it could be something like that too, which is why it's so hard to project 2 years down the road. So I agree with you on that. That's I would expect something like that to be happening when they start to turn the corner and get back to contending. As far as the cleanup thing for now, I don't know that it's a big deal with Mason Wynn there. And again, the reasoning for it is not complicated, but I get it. I agree. Mason Wynn is not a cleanup hitter. So, I mean, like, let's get the agreement out of the way up front. I agree he's not a cleanup hitter. I don't think he's ever going to fit the profile of a cleanup hitter on a contending team. So what they're just doing now is making the best of an imperfect lineup. You don't have a right-handed bat to split up the lefties right now that makes any more sense than that. And that's all it is. Because like if you look at Weatherholt, Herrera, Burleson, 1, 2, and 3. Those are your best 3 hitters. And from what we know about lineup construction in modern times, the way to do it is to have your best 3 hitters hitting 1, 2, and 3. You would ideally love a right-handed power bat behind Burleson there to split Burley and Gorman, because you don't want the lefties back-to-back. It makes it too easy for opposing teams to match up with you in the bullpen late in games. So that's all it really is. And Ollie has said as much. In fact, Ollie has said, yeah, look, I know Mason Wynn's not a cleanup hitter. Like, we get that, and we all agree with it. For now, it's not a big deal. But if that's your cleanup hitter in 2 years, yes, you'd have a problem. Thank you for the call, Don. I appreciate it. Thank you for the compliment. I don't deserve it, but thank you. We'll wrap up with a little bit of more baseball right after this here on Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Is your garage door past its prime? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hire experienced techs and installers. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
At a local speed dating event, homeowners weren't looking for love. They were looking for the one.
Honey, I got the best news.
What, you installed all the ceiling fans?
No, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Yeah, oh, you are, but this one is certified, background check, and everyone was fighting over him. Plus, he can install all the ceiling fans.
Okay, who is this guy?
A Jerry Kelly technician.
For heating, cooling, electrical, or plumbing, find the one for your home. Schedule today at
JerryKelly.com. Ready to hit a home run with your backyard? Call Artistic Decks. We're celebrating 25 years of A-plus service with massive rollback pricing. Get a professional custom-built deck for less. Hit it out of the park with Artistic Decks. Call 314-280-0821 today.
Get ready to laugh out loud, St. Louis. The outrageous Broadway hit Spam-A-Lot is riding into the fabulous Fox Theater May 5th through the 17th. From the twisted minds of Monty Python, this Tony Award-winning musical brings you killer rabbits, dancing knights, and non-stop hilarity. It's the legend of King Arthur like you've never seen it before. More information can be found at KMOX.com/events.
This is Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates. You know, the doctors, or just the best doctors to see for your best vision in St. Louis. 314-966-5000, the doctors. They've treated more than 250 doctors. That's more than any other practice. Dr. Greg Birdie, Dr. Ranjan Malhotra, Dr. Robert Bersati, Dr. Andy Royer. 314-966-5000 is their phone number. 314-966-5000. Dr. Birdie, Dr. Malhotra are cornea surgeons and experts in diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye, dry eye, allergy eye, cataracts, macular degeneration, glaucoma, LASIK surgery. The Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates, experts. Call for an appointment today, 314-966-5000, or visit them online, youridoc.com, 12990 Manchester Road, quarter mile west of 270. 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
True comfort is something you feel every day and something your home should deliver effortlessly. It's in the quiet of your mornings, the consistency of your indoor temperature, and the way your home feels season after season. With Renewal by Andersen, every detail is designed for lasting performance and a seamless, refined experience. From consultation through installation, everything is handled by one experienced team, built around your home and your schedule. And with our exclusive Fibrex material, stronger than vinyl and built for extreme temperatures, you get durability that lasts. Save 20% off your entire project. Plus, take an additional $100 off every window and door, up to $1,000. With flexible financing options available, you can move forward with confidence. But this offer won't last long. Call by April 30th. Call 877-WINDOWS. Or visit renewalbyandersen.com today. That's 877-WINDOWS or renewalbyandersen.com. Renewal by Andersen. Superior products, exceptional service.
Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
right, you're back in on Sports Open Line. Kevin Wheeler pinch hitting for my buddy Matt Pauley. Again, Matt will be back to business as usual. He'll be back on Cardinals pre and post on Monday, and we will not have this show, and we won't have Redbird Rush Hour on Monday either because it's a 5:45 game. That'll be true Monday and Tuesday. Then Wednesdays, I think a 3:10, something like that. And then they'll come back home, and things will get back to a normal schedule. But they got 2 more to handle with Detroit, and I'm looking to this weekend. I'm really hoping for a better performance from Dustin May. I know that, spring training numbers and all that, they don't tell us much of anything. He was really good in the spring, but that's not really something we can hang our hats on. But what I really was excited about is that, he's healthy. And when Bernie was talking about, I think on the Gas House Gang this week, about not getting too excited about the fact that Dustin May throws 98, 99. That's true. It's all about making pitches. If you're throwing 98, but you're getting hit around like he did in his first start, well, that's no good. The one thing that I think is encouraging about it, beyond the fact that the Cardinals haven't had anybody in the rotation doing that since they gave Jordan Hicks a little run there, but it's that it just shows that he's physically good, which means that he's still just kicking off the rust. He did not have a good year last year, but we know that was at least in part related to coming off a couple of years of injuries and then having the tear in his esophagus that almost killed him. And I'm looking forward to seeing how he does tomorrow, assuming they get to play tomorrow. It's scheduled for 12:10 tomorrow, but it's going to be raining in Detroit. It might get moved around maybe later in the day. Could be a doubleheader on Sunday, but we'll see. I don't know that the forecast is super bad, but when listening to John and Rick today, they made it seem like it was pretty rough for tomorrow. But it's Dustin May and Jack Flaherty tomorrow. That'll be fun. Jack was pretty good for a little bit of his first start, and then he just fell apart. And it's he's kind of has the same problem now that he's had with the Cardinals, in that just sometimes an inning gets away from him, and then that messes up the start. He'll typically be good for 3 or 4 innings, and then maybe there's an inning that he just can't get out of, and he'll have a 35-pitch inning, and he gives up 3 runs, and it kind of blows the start for him. He still battles that, but he has been healthier, and his stuff looks good. So it'll be a fun matchup, and hopefully Dustin May bounces back. And then Sunday, you've got Leahy and Justin Verlander. So a guy early on in his efforts as a starter and a guy in his 40s trying to figure it out. Verlander stunk his last time out. When he pitched against Arizona, he got rocked. Just hanging breaking balls. He doesn't throw 98 anymore. That's just not his game now. He's low 90s, maybe occasionally 94, 95. But you'll know if he's good if his breaking stuff is sharp, and it was not sharp in Arizona. He got rocked by the Diamondbacks. So I don't think it's really a scary proposition looking at the next 2 days. Detroit's good, but they're not a juggernaut. And in the pitching matchups, I'd say you actually probably have a little edge with Leahy over Verlander at this point. Tomorrow is it's definitely more favoring Detroit because Dustin May just didn't look good last time out, and he didn't look good last year. And Flaherty's just been stable, right? Flaherty's not an ace. He fits where he is now, which is kind of like a 3rd or 4th starter on a team that's got 2 dudes, right? You got Skubal and Valdez. Flaherty after those guys looks a lot better than Flaherty after only one of those guys. So, he'll give you a competitive outing. It'll be fun. And by the way, just kind of wrapping up the Mason win conversation too. After the game today, I know we've touched on it, but in case you're tuning in late, after the game today, Derek Gould reported that he came out of the game today with some hip tightness. He says Wynn said it started on Tuesday when he was doing some extra work in the cage to try to bust out of the slump that he's been in to start. Probably didn't help to have the car accident on Wednesday too. So it's probably a little bit of both of those things. And Wynn did tell Derek Gould, and probably not just Derek, but the guys that are there, that, hey, probably not going to play tomorrow. Like, he expects to not play on Saturday, which is fine. He's going to need days off too. So give him the day tomorrow. They probably should have given him the day today, given the stiffness and then the accident on Wednesday. But that's hindsight now. Probably get the day off tomorrow. Guessing we'll see JC at shortstop. And then we'll see where this plays out going through the rest of the weekend. Guys, have a great weekend. Happy Easter to everybody. We'll be back talking ball on Monday here on KMOX.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes